And now, our feature presentation. A glass of milk, half full, reflects the sunlight as the gentle humming of machinery duets with the chirping birds outside. A nurse checks on the IV connected to her sleeping patient. The patient, Wood, is nearly 140 years old by Primum Standard Time. Even at this age, his physique is impressive. But he is going to die in this room. Her duties completed, the nurse passes Wood's great-granddaughter Ophelia, 36, and Ophelia's girlfriend Quinny, 38, on her way out of the room. Wood's eyes open gently, his gaze landing on Ophelia. His irises are sun orange, as are hers. Ophelia reaches out and touches Wood's aged hand.
Hi, Great-Granddaddy. How are you feeling?
Wood grunts at her, shifting his focus to Ophelia's smiling companion.
Great-Granddaddy. This is Quinny.
It's a great honor to meet you, sir.
Quinny bounds forward, her hand outstretched.
On my 6th birthday, your history was the first cerebral seminar graph that I chose.
Wood merely narrows his eyes, ignoring the offered handshake.
It is an honor, sir.
Gigi, I wanted to come and see you and introduce you to Quinny before.
Wood grunts, indicating the hospital and the machinery he's hooked up to. Before I die?
No, Gigi, not that. We're moving. At the next rotation date.
To the Terra system. They're finally populating Callisto. I mean, took them long enough, right? And we're going to be part of the team that's going to help OccuShape it.
Wood stares at her. Ophelia senses that it's probably time to leave.
Well, we'll let you rest. We still have to prepare for our portal to Terra, don't we? Quinny has family on Earth that we're going to visit for a few days before our mission date.
Ophelia kisses Wood on the forehead and looks at him for what will probably be the last time. She turns away slowly, taking Quinny's arm, steering her towards the door. Wood finally speaks, his voice hoarse.
I once met 4 humans from Earth, but they probably weren't mentioned in your cerebral graft.
The atmosphere of Earth is so dirty that the planet is brown, enveloped in a smoky haze.
It was almost 100 standard years ago, around 2037. Terra Almanac, Earth's pollution had reached critical levels. Earth had finally realized that they needed to unite in a last-ditch attempt to save the planet. But just as the Broker Thunberg Foundation had cautioned, it was too late to do anything. They had pushed the planet too far, and there was nothing that the Terra could do to reverse the damage. So they decided, for once, that dignity was their best option. They signed Earth's Unity Agreement, declaring all humans equal and legally abolishing greed and jealousy. It was then that the Avante arrived. Far more technologically advanced, superior intelligence, better music, the Avante had been patiently waiting for Earth to figure out that they were being a group of selfish idiots before they made contact.
Prime Minister Swann of Avante, 47 years old and dressed in his finest Avante greeting suit, steps out of the shuttle and approaches the Queen of Upper Mexico. He is wearing an all but invisible breathing apparatus over his neck gills. He pulls the Queen into an embrace. She is confused, but returns the hug.
Prime Minister Swann of Avante brought with him the All-King and President of all Opulentists, Morlin Trudd, and a document called the Intergalactic Declaration to enfold the planets of Terra into the triumvirate of friendly systems. Once Mars was fully colonized, Earth was left in charge of the Terra system. In exchange for clean oxygen, Terra traded their excess CO2 to the Avante and their methane to the Opulentus. This kept Earth as an integral cog in the triumvirate machine, and protecting the travel and trade routes through the Terra system became their top priority. However, joining the triumvirate opened the Terra system to threats from the dark corners of the galaxy.
A friendly yellow Terra tourism ship soars through space. The side of the ship reads, Greyhound Planet Tours. A dangerous-looking pirate ship silently stalks it.
Slavers from Abrius of the Primum system began kidnapping humans as easy as picking up fallen mulligan fruit.
The pirate ship races toward the Pluto portal, a circular revolving swirl of green lights tethered to Pluto by a dozen miles of glowing fiber optic cable.
Eventually, Avante and Terra were able to reinforce the Pluto portal to keep out the unwanted interlopers. But just in case someone did get through, someone who didn't have permission to be in the Terra system,
The glowing green swirl turns red.
Earth created a special force.
The pirates' faces fall. They can't believe what they're looking at. Behind them, the tourists exchange excited looks. Starship Patrol November floats casually in the space between the pirates and the Pluto portal.
And they called it Starship Patrol.
The crew of 3 sit poised, ready for action. Kayla MacLough, 28, the energetic pilot. Louis DeCarroll, 34, the experienced communications officer. Jacob Geofferies, 32, the tactical officer who is also there. Each crew member has pink vertical stripes on the left side of their jackets denoting rank. 1 stripe for Geofferies, 2 stripes each for Kayla and DeCarroll, and 4 stripes for Captain Bancroft, 47, who sits up tall and strong in her captain's chair. Her voice carries the strength of authority.
Fire!
The pirate ship is hit with laser fire, which slices through the hull, separating the flight deck from the cargo hold. The tourists stare briefly into the emptiness of space. The sudden loss of gravity tugs them gently from where they sit, before an emergency door slams down, shutting them safely in the hold. Gravity re-engaged, they fall back heavily into their seats. It's to be a different outcome on the flight deck, where the pirates are becoming frantic as 2 guided space torpedoes speed toward them. The atmospheric pressure of the hull is ruptured, and the flight deck immediately collapses in on itself, instantly crumpling into an unrecognizable mass like a crushed ball of aluminum foil. The captain and her crew share subdued victory nods.
Damn, we're good.
Starship Patrol November slouch on the blue plastic chairs in the briefing room. Other than DeCarroll, who's doing a 3D holo crossword, they look bored. Their nonchalant attitude serves only to further infuriate Superintendent Holland, a 42-year-old woman with a military haircut and a scowl on her face, who paces in front of them.
You had the portal closed. Why did you still fire on the pirate ship? Bancroft?
Yeah, babe.
What possessed you to fire on the ship when all you had to do was wait for backup to arrive? Patrol Sierra was just a ziplet away.
I made a judgment call, Superintendent, and a bloody good one, in my opinion.
You could have killed 68 tourists.
Or did we rather heroically save 68 tourists?
Your behavior was reckless.
It sent a message to any other pirates planning to plunder our people, didn't it?
How could it have, if there weren't any pirates left to witness your irrational behavior?
Word will get around.
How?
We leaked the footage.
What if you had missed the shot?
Of the footage?
Of the torpedo.
No. Geofferies never misses.
What did I say would happen if you were to precipitously use your weapons again?
Is this all because we happened to clip Space Force 1?
We were practicing a very specific maneuver.
That close to Earth.
We were trying to see if we could skip a torpedo off the stratosphere.
Funny, I thought you never missed.
He did specify that it was a practice shot, so...
So it doesn't really count, does it?
Oh, Superintendent Holland, it's hardly fair to discriminate against us merely because we may be a little too ambitious.
Why can't you take your job seriously? I know you're bored. I know that you don't care that the other patrols think that you're a joke.
They do?
But what happens next time that there's a genuine threat?
We'll handle it with ease, just as we did this one.
What do you do all day? Have breath-holding competitions?
Well, it wouldn't be much of a competition after all. I am reigning 3-world champ.
Do you know what position you've put me in? I can't discharge you even though you deserve it based on your shenanigans. Because when it comes down to it, you're one of the best leaders we have. But I can't trust you. I literally don't know what to do. If you would just listen. Just change. A little bit. A little.
Just give us more torpedoes, and we'll be on our way.
Are you kidding me? You ignored me right as I... Your ship's weapons have already been removed, Captain.
What?
Then what's the point of me being a tactical officer?
Yes, DeCarroll.
How are we meant to defend ourselves or protect the system?
Right now, the only threat is your captain's inclination towards firing first and asking questions never. If you happen to be in a situation where you need to do your job as outlined by the Starship Patrol Protocol, you still have your communications systems. You can call another patrol officer for assistance. Try to be professional. At least try to be better. Please. A little. You have your daily assignment. Starship Patrol November. Dismissed.
She did kind of nail her MO, sir.
Bancroft doesn't respond. She's too busy glaring after Holland. DeCarroll and Geofferies exit before the others. Geoffreys is in a sour mood.
So now my only job is to get CAF for everyone when they need a bit of energy.
Your CAF is a more than capable, creamy concoction of caffeine.
You don't have to tell me it's great. But still, I'm the weapons guy. Without weapons, I'm just a guy.
Hey man, you've got to relax. Even though they took away the boomboxes, you're still tactical officer. There'll be plenty of time for stratagem. Speaking of which...
Tic-Tac whiskey?
For the tactical officer, my friend.
Where did you get this from?
The Department of Illegal Contraband. Bill Williams has had a thing for me ever since the Danville Hootenanny, so...
You were the best. Literally. The best.
Both tutti and fruity.
My two favorite flavors.
Unsanctioned goods. Really? Is that the example we're attempting to set?
Captain Bancroft speaks from behind them. She's flanked by Kayla.
What's that, Captain?
Didn't you hear Superintendent Holland? We're supposed to be better than this.
It's just a little drink, Cap. And since when did you care?
You are aware that it is against Starship Patrol regulation to imbibe prohibited substances, especially while in uniform and particularly within view of the public? Do you really want to risk your commission by putting the community's safety in danger?
Come on, Cap. We can hold our liquor.
I'll be holding it. Thank you.
Ugh.
I shall return this bottle to Billy and William and firmly remind him why illegal contraband should remain safely under secure lock and bio key. Please, go and prep the ship. We'll be with you shortly after we coordinate with Patrol Foxtrot. And remember, we're trying to be professionals as per orders. Thank you.
DeCarroll and Geoffreys exit, grumbling on their way to the port. Bancroft turns to Kayla.
Quick nip before breakfast? This dejection isn't going to drown itself, you know. Ooh.
But, sir, you said you were going to return the bottle.
But I said nothing of the contents, Kayla. Nothing of the contents.
You, sir, know your way around a verbal loophole.
Thank you, Kayla. I do indeed. It's good to be smarter than everyone else,
Oh, it's good. Oh, it burns. It's good though.
Wood, 40, his eyes brown and his muscles bulging, and Rock, a diminutive primum man in his late 30s with piercing blue eyes, wait in the underground laboratory. Both men have neck gills. All around them are bubbling beakers and displays that show breakdowns of human physiology. Rock is visibly nervous, but Wood is calm as he inspects one of the displays.
Fascinating.
Dr. Nolan, 64, enters the room. A tall and skinny woman with brown-gray hair and bright orange irises. She wears a lab coat and carries an Electra clipboard. She strides toward Wood and Rock.
Wood, Rock, glad you could make it.
Of course, Dr. Nolan. We're here to help.
How proceeded your infiltration of the Avante?
We're operating at a full success rate.
Did they trust you?
Of course.
Excellent. Gentlemen, the time has come. The procedure has been perfected, and now all we need is a correct fuel.
Nolan crosses to a different display, and Wood and Rock follow her. Nolan points toward an image of a transport ship. The display zooms into the cargo hold, showing the storage containers.
The canisters are prepped for stasis sleep, Doc.
You're sure the Terra humans, once in stasis, will be undetectable by the scanners they have at the asteroid belt border?
We tested it with an earwolf and got through with no trouble. We'll be back to Primum before Terra even realize they're missing a single Earthling.
Top-notch, Wood. The sooner you return with the samples, the sooner we can commence. Now go.
Wood and Rock shake hands with Nolan and then exit. Nolan turns her attention to a display that's showing a human skeleton. She punches a sequence of buttons on the panel beneath, and the display zooms in on the femur. Nolan smiles to herself. Bancroft and Kayla stumble onto the bridge where DeCarroll and Geoffreys are waiting. The ship is humming in anticipation of flight. Bancroft slumps into the pilot's seat, and Kayla in the captain's chair. DeCarroll and Geoffreys exchange a look.
Captain?
Hey there, Carol. What are you doing back there?
You're sitting in Kayla's seat, Cap.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not right. Alright, move over, Kayla. You're in my seat. We gotta get to work.
Hello, sir. How'd you all get into my room?
DeCarroll looks at Geoffreys.
Maybe now's a good time to make some calf.
Bancroft tries to help Kayla off the floor, but ends up collapsing next to her instead. They sit next to each other, laughing. Bancroft points toward the view screen.
Ah, like a dirty shirt!
She promptly falls backwards as Kayla crawls towards her chair.
Yee! Pew pew!
Nearly bumping into Starship Patrol Victor, who are landing, Starship Patrol November lifts shakily into the air before zooming off into the atmosphere. They narrowly avoid an Element Transportation Corporation ship, who engage in an emergency maneuver to evade the patrol. Wood and Rock brace themselves. Their ship sways in the wake of Starship Patrol November. They exchange a glance before Rock guides the ship toward the surface. They dock at a CO2 containment facility. 2 technicians hook the transport ship up to a series of large hoses, then initiate the CO2 transfer procedure. A shuttle detaches from the transport ship and flies gently out of the facility. Rock pilots the shuttle as Wood navigates. Rock gently lands the shuttle on the roof of a 40-story apartment complex. Wood knocks on the door of an apartment. The door opens, revealing a 27-year-old woman with curly brown hair.
Buonasera. Posso essere d'aiuto?
Yes. Yes, you may.
In the back of the shuttle are 15 humans, unconscious and strapped firmly into their seats. Wood turns on a portable display unit tablet, a PDU, and uses his fingers to cross out a location on the list, the 13th of 20. The shuttle docks with the transportation ship. Rock, who is surprisingly strong, drags in an unconscious human male as Wood drains the CO2 from another container. Wood and Rock lift up the human and stuff him into the canister. Rock secures the lid, and Wood initiates stasis protocol on his PDU. The transport ship takes off from the facility. The transport ship soars toward Earth, passing Starship Patrol November on the way.
Captain?
Oh, it's nothing to Carol. I'm just terribly bored. And my head hurts. And I'm mad at Holland for the things she said.
You know, it's like we do our jobs too well, right?
Totally. There's no crimes going, no traffic violations, no nothing.
I can't even remember the last time we saw any action.
It was yesterday, sir. We implode collapsed an Abrius pirate ship.
Oh, yes. Quite. I'd forgotten about that. So, does anyone have an idea for an afternoon activity?
Moon landing screw around?
Oh my god, yes! We haven't done that in forever!
Kayla.
Yes, sir?
Take us to Earth's moon.
Rock and Wood fly toward the asteroid belt customs checkpoint. Wood is nervous.
All we need to do is get past their scanners and we're home free.
Their comm blinks, and Rock engages it.
Good morning, Customs. This is Element Transportation Corporation ship J4-D7.
Copy that, J4-D7. Good to see you, boys. How's life?
Life is good. Thanks for asking, Steve. How's Sammy doing?
Why don't you ask him yourself?
Hey, bud. It's Sammy. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking. You're literally the best part of my day.
Hurtful.
That's great, Sammy. You think you guys could rush our clearance today? We stopped to have a late breakfast, so we're running a little bit behind.
We'd love to, but it seems that your ship is registering more mass than usual today, which is weird.
Wood and Rock exchange a glance. Rock moves his hand toward the weapons controls and flips the cover off the missile launch button. Wood shakes his head. Be patient.
Do you think I shouldn't have had that second Gruyere souffle?
You know what? It's probably nothing. Our instruments haven't been calibrated yet this rotation, so we've been acting up a bit lately.
I hear you, man. Sometimes we feel like we don't get the attention we deserve either.
Ain't that the sad truth? It makes it hard to do our jobs, huh?
You said it, brother. Look, you know us. We go through this checkpoint every 3 cycles. If we don't make our deliveries on time, we get in all sorts of trouble. You think you could help us out?
You know, you're right. We can probably slide you off room.
Thanks, friend. You're really bailing us out.
Maybe we should run it by Dennis first, just to be safe.
Yeah, probably. Hang on, guys.
Hey, Dennis!
Dennis, the customs supervisor, glares at them from the back of the room where he's flirting heavily with a cute female technician. He stomps over grumpily.
I hope this is an emergency. I was right in the middle of an orientation.
Sorry, Dennis. Could you just take a look at this?
We think your instruments may be acting up again.
Just follow procedures, Steve. You don't need me to tell you that. But I do need you to tell me one thing first, though. What is the name of that new technician?
Chrysanthemum.
It's Hydrangea. No, I thought it was Hydrangea. Are you sure?
That's not a person's name, Dennis.
Dennis stares at him, then goes back to the female technician.
Hey, J4-D7. Just pull an over into the inspection dock and we'll try to get someone here as quickly as possible to get you going again.
Wood and Rock comply, their attitude grim. Technician Steve radios Starship Patrol. DeCarroll and Kayla are dressed in Apollo 11 astronaut spacesuits, pretending to be Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. DeCarroll is planting an American flag while Kayla films. Behind them sit Geofferies and Bancroft in director's chairs, wearing Starship Patrol void protection units, speaking quietly to each other.
I don't know. I feel like the flag should be flapping.
Oh, don't be a fathead. How's the flag supposed to flap?
I'm pretty sure there's at least a little ripple.
Oh, don't be one of those, Geoffreys.
Their internal comms beep and DeCarroll answers the call.
Customs, come in.
We've got a situation 8-Alpha we need you to come and confer on.
Copy that. On our way.
Do we have to go? They're so creepy at the asteroid belt.
And I didn't get my turn being Aldrin yet?
You're more of a Collins.
No, we should go. It won't take long for us to tell them that they're idiots. And it'll give us something to do.
Also, it's our duty?
Also that. Alright, dirty shirt, crew.
Creepy asteroid garbage people with their stupid faces and haircuts.
Starship Patrol repulse her into a gentle landing. Bancroft and her crew enter the ship.
Is this going to take long?
It will take as long as it takes. Firstly, do you have any calf, and how long before it's brewed, and how strong is it? And why haven't I been handed a calf yet?
Rock brings Bancroft a mug of calf as she and DeCarroll stand speaking with Wood in the entrance to the hold. Kayla and Geoffreys inspect the CO2 canisters.
How long have you been working for the Element Transportation Corporation?
Just over a year, Captain.
Funny, we've never seen you on our patrols.
We try to stay out of trouble, Captain.
Then tell me, what are your benefits like? Because I've got another year here before I even get dental, and there's this abscess tooth that's really starting to interfere when I eat toffee and candy, and really like anything chewy and like pulley, you know, kind of, oh god.
In the back of the hold, Kayla and Geofferies continue their search.
What does your scanner say?
What do you mean?
When you scanned the hold, is there unaccounted for mass?
I don't have a scanner. You're supposed to be the one that brings a scanner.
What? You're the scanner guy.
I'm the weapons guy.
Right now, you're barely even just a guy.
Words hurt, Kayla.
Bancroft calls to them.
What did the scan show?
Yep.
Totally good.
Okay, then let us allow these gentlemen on their way. Thank you for the beverage, although I do prefer it with milk. Black, a little too strong.
She and Carol head for the exit.
Milk?
Kayla and Geoffreys hustle after them, whispering to each other.
I'm sure it's fine, right?
Of course. It's just a regular shipment of carbon dioxide. Nothing else at all.
As they exit the cargo hold, they completely miss seeing a high-heeled shoe laying discarded behind a canister. The transportation ship undocks and flies away. Dennis and technician Steve and Sammy get a dressing down from the communications hologram of Captain Bancroft.
The safety of our Terra system, including our sister systems, can only be guaranteed when every person is doing their job accurately. Get your instruments in working order, including this one. Bancroft out. Peace.
Dibs on her. You understand?
Bancroft drinks another cup of caf, slouched casually in her captain's chair.
I think we deserve a team treat. Who would like to go out for dinner tonight, huh?
I bet we can get reservations at Ackerman's House of Meat.
Ooh, do they have LeBron beef there?
Oh my god, it's been so long since I've had a LeBron steaklet.
Well, then it's been settled. 2 Ackermans. Off like a dirty shirt. Kayla?
The crew cheer. Holland finishes briefing the 4-person crew of Starship Patrol Echo.
And remember, you have weapons because I trust you not to fire at, towards, or near civilians. Patrol Echo dismissed.
The 4-person crew get up and exit as Holland's PDU chirps at her. She waves at it, entering a video chat with an Earth police captain. Holland is surprised to be speaking with law enforcement.
Good morning, officer. How can I help you?
Sir, we have a problem that we need your assistance with.
What is it?
We're investigating a mass planetary kidnapping.
Officer, I have another call coming in. Please hold.
Holland waves her hand at the PDU and enters another video chat, this time with a Mars police captain.
Superintendent Holland, we need your help. We have an alarming amount of missing citizens.
Holland's face betrays her growing concern. The crew of Starship Patrol November sit at attention in their seats.
Human trafficking?
We have reports of between 250 and 300 missing humans from Earth and Mars.
How is this possible?
That's what we're trying to figure out. We're working with limited information at the moment.
Which is what?
Holland gestures on her PDU and 2 maps appear on the wall behind her, one of Earth and one of Mars. Blinking areas indicate each kidnapping.
All we know is that they were kidnapped in groups of 10 to 15 based on the missing human reports.
What about the safety trackers and their wrist personal display units? They're indestructible and unremovable.
That was the first thing we checked. Our systems were hacked and they were remotely deactivated.
Impossible. Can't be done.
There has to be something else.
We've got patrols Charlie, Zulu, Golf, Juliet, and Oscar conducting investigations. All of the other patrols are being called in from their assignments. This is obviously top priority.
So when do we get out there?
Captain, you were in space during the takings. Did you notice anything odd? Anything at all? Probably involving a large transport ship?
I can't think of anything.
There was that one thing at the asteroid belt, right, Captain?
No, DeCarroll, that was...
That was what?
Nothing.
I imagine this is going to reflect poorly on you.
There was an element transportation ship, J4-D7. It had registered odd mass readings at the asteroid belt, but when we did our own scans, there was nothing to show.
They must have figured out some way to confuse our sensors.
I'm going to need your scanner to verify this.
You can't. It's broken.
Broke pretty much after we used it. Slammed in the door.
Yeah, it broke in a door that was slammed on it, so sorry.
Holland stares at them and waves at her PDU.
Attention all Starship Patrols. Discontinue previous tasks and immediately move to intercept Element Transport Ship J4-D7. The coordinates are being uploaded to you now.
Finally, some action.
Not you. Because this is what happens. I ask you to please do your duty, not to take it lightly, and now we have missing citizens.
But as an overall percentage of the population, it's not that high of a number.
Any number is unacceptable. Captain, your patrol is grounded pending further investigation.
Patrol November sit heavily. Bancroft glares at Holland. Holland makes a face right back at her. The Element Transportation ship continues toward the Pluto portal. Wood enters the flight deck and sits.
The vital signs are holding. How close to the portal?
Rock indicates a readout.
Good. I'm getting anxious, you know. I keep thinking we're gonna... You can't blame me for that.
They're signaled by Starship Patrol Alpha.
Attention! Element Transport J4-D7. You are ordered by the Starship Patrol of the Terra system to power down your ship and prepare to be boarded.
Thank you so much for the offer. It's incredibly sweet, but we're gonna politely decline.
The Element Transportation ship is being flanked by 25 Starship Patrols.
That is an error in judgment. You are surrounded by 25 Starship Patrol ships. You will face harsher penalties should you resist or refuse further to comply.
Actually, I have a device that will cause your weapons to self-destruct if you power them up in an attempt to fire at us. So...
No such device exists, and you cannot bluff the captain of a Starship Patrol. Prepare to be boarded.
Wood nods to Rock. Instead of powering down, Rock pushes forward on the throttle, shooting the transport forward.
Hey, Starship Patrol, it'll probably be less embarrassing for you if you let this one go.
Notify the other starships to power up weapons. These pirates chose the wrong day to be brave. Prepare to fire.
A light flashes on the control panel. Rock looks at it, then at Wood, concerned. Wood is busy punching controls.
I've got locks on their space torpedoes. Hey man, come on. Everything's worked so far.
Rock rolls his eyes, then indicates with his head that Wood should get back to work. Wood leaps out of his seat and moves down the hallway to a storage closet. He opens the door to reveal a nasty-looking device, seemingly all wires and lights. He grabs a control lever and raises it toward the ceiling. The machine begins to hum. The tactical officer is confused, looking at his weapons array.
Captain, I don't understand! All of our weapons are...
Report!
Sir! Our space torpedoes have erupted in their firing tubes. Our engines are damaged, and we're hemorrhaging power!
What about the other patrols?
The crew of November and Superintendent Holland stare at a holographic representation of Saturn. They watch the Element Transportation ship fly away from 25 dead-in-the-water Starship Patrols. Holland sits down heavily in a chair, away from Patrol November.
How did they...
They somehow turned our own weapons.
How is that even possible?
They would need a transponder the size of...
They could easily fit one large enough on that ship.
And they only targeted the engines somehow?
That would take...
They must have hijacked the torpedo systems and forced a controlled self-destruct.
Knocking out their propulsion units.
But all of the patrol crews are alive?
Bancroft stares at the map, thinking. She looks at Holland, then back at the map. She watches her crew for a moment as they try to figure out what has just happened as she mentally weighs the pros and cons of her next action.
Superintendent Holland, do you have orders?
They incapacitated the whole fleet. Every single patrol.
Not quite. Send us out.
They'll just do the same to you.
No, they won't. We don't have any weapons.
You're the entire Starship Patrol now.
Your orders, Superintendent?
Go.
Starship Patrol November run toward the dock.
Kayla, do you think we can beat them to the Pluto portal?
I think we can beat them to Neptune, sir.
Or do we want to instead forget about this and go for a picnic?
Priorities. Pirates at the Pluto portal first. Picnic after prestige.
Holland video calls Prime Minister Swann. She waits impatiently for the connection to go through.
stupid network. Come on, you jumping Josie.
I can only assume, Superintendent Holland, that you are calling me on the emergency line because there is an emergency.
Well, yeah. Right. Sir, it appears that the human traffickers may be back. Nearly 300 people were taken today from Earth and Mars.
Have you determined the responsible party?
Yes, sir. We're tracking them right now.
They're still in the Terra system.
Yes, sir.
Good. Then I trust, Superintendent, that you will do your job and stop the takers. The pirates cannot be allowed this continuous infiltration. I should not have to remind you of that.
Yes, sir. I promise we won't.
Holland thinks, then radios Starship Patrol November.
Are you close, Captain Bancroft?
We have them in sight just past Uranus. We'll need this frequency to contact them, however.
Just make sure you don't do anything stupid.
DeCarroll, signal that ship!
DeCarroll punches in a command. Wood and Rock exchange a glance as their comm chirps. Wood activates it.
Hello?
You will stop your ship immediately and prepare to be boarded.
Oh, no. No thanks. We're good.
If you're already facing a life sentence in the never-ending maze, don't make it worse.
Hang on, man. I'm sure you passed through the graveyard of your counterparts on your way out here. It won't take much for you to meet the same fate.
Actually, we intentionally left our torpedoes at our base. So, there's that gone as an option for you.
Bancroft waits. There's no reply.
Are you still there, or... should I have perhaps retained that information about the torpedoes?
Wood's seat is empty. He's back in the storage closet, frantically rewiring his device. He calls out to Rock.
There. Give it all you got.
Rock punches it and the transportation ship leaps forward. The element transportation ship races toward the Pluto portal, leaving icy streaks behind it.
How the hell?
After them, Kayla!
I'm trying. Geoffreys, I need you to redirect me some power.
On it.
Captain, they're sending out some sort of a signal hack, but I can't yet tell what it's for.
Figure it out! I don't know why they're running. They won't be able to get through the Pluto portal without authorization.
They've hacked the portal and flooded it with an authorization falsification program?
Unless, of course, they flood the Pluto portal with authorization falsification information. DeCarroll, can you do anything?
We weren't prepared for this, Captain. I don't think I have enough time.
Then we got to beat them to the portal. We could physically block it with the ship if we need to. I mean, not that I want to do that, but, you know.
We're already shunting power from every system except life support. I don't think we're even going to come close to catching them.
These guys only hacked the torpedoes. Why didn't Holland give us our lasers back?
You know what? Let them go.
Sir?
But don't look like you're letting them go. DeCarroll, make contact with the Avante Defense Corps. When the traffickers get through to the other side, the Avante will have someone waiting there for them.
Ooh, solid plan, Captain.
The Avante? They're far more strict than us anyway.
It's weird that the traffickers are Avante, though, right? Has that ever happened before?
It is very weird, Kayla.
Rock points at the display.
They've slowed down. It's subtle, but jammed their communications, just in case.
They've jammed our communications, Captain. I'm working on getting through it. And I'm through.
Good work, DeCarroll. That was fast.
Captain, please.
Damn it. It's no good. Their tech is too strong. Just stick to the original plan. It's either going to work, or it's going to be real messy.
Wood and Rock brace themselves as the element transportation ship enters the portal and vanishes. Starship Patrol drift to a stop behind them, waiting. DeCarroll nods to Bancroft.
This is Captain Crystal Bancroft of Terra System Starship Patrol November. With whom am I speaking?
The Avante Defense Corps General replies.
This is Flung.
Swann, there is a ship carrying illegal cargo that has just entered the portal. They should be on your side in 7 nanomacros.
Copy. Moving to intercept position now.
The crew bounce nervously in their respective seats.
How long's it been since the traffickers went through?
4 nanomacros.
Shouldn't be long then.
You know, it's nice having the Avante as neighbors. They're pretty cool about stuff.
Well, I'd hate to be neighbors with the Opulentus, though. They seem like entitled pricks.
I had to run a mission once for the Opulentus when I was in the officer seminary. They were terrible, horrible communicators. Entitled, poor taste in music. Their leader, Moreland Trud, wouldn't see the forest for them.
Communication incoming, Captain.
General, good to hear back from you. That must have been the easiest capture of forever, wouldn't you say? I suppose we can share the credit in this collaring. Say 80-20 for us.
Nobody's come through.
What? That's impossible. It's been
11 nanomacros.
11 nanomacros. That is more than enough time.
There's nobody here.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Maybe the portal is malfunctioning.
Our scanners indicate no malfunction with the portal.
Well, maybe your scanners are malfunctioning.
They are not. And even if they were, I can see with my eyes that nobody has come through.
Well, maybe your eyes are malfunctioning. You know what? We're gonna come through just to make sure there aren't any malfunctions.
Sir?
Through the portal, Kayla!
Starship Patrol November exits the portal, which is tethered to the moon Lessica G in Avante space. They're immediately fired upon by an Avante security vessel electric disruptor ray. Their systems killed, Starship Patrol November floats uselessly.
Carol, please signal the Avante so we can alert them to their error.
Aye, Captain.
DeCarroll swims his way down to his control panel, then pulls himself underneath to the auxiliary controls. He unfolds, then vigorously cranks a large handle. The control panel above begins to glow as energy courses through it. DeCarroll nods at Bancroft, who yells at her comm.
Hey, what the hell was that?
We apologize, Patrol. We did not realize it was you.
We told you we were coming through and you could have used an iota of caution before firing.
The communications officer presses a button, muting Bancroft. The Avante General turns to the tactical officer.
Now at least they will not question if our weapons have malfunctioned.
The patrol wait in a large, marble-floored hallway. They're all wearing oxygen bubbles, invisible other than the occasional shimmer, and a unit they wear on their hip. They're quiet, contemplative. Bancroft stands as they're approached by Deputy Prime Minister Priscilla Piper, 39.
Piper, why are we waiting here?
What did you do?
What do you mean?
How could you let the takers get away?
Didn't they tell you what happened?
Do you really think anyone's going to believe that they disappeared in the portal?
Where else could they have gone?
Well, we should go. Unless you'd like to keep Prime Minister Swann waiting.
Swann stands behind his desk, reviewing security footage. He motions to Piper, a dismissive wave of his hand, and Piper guides the patrol to a group of chairs. All five sit down as Swann pushes the security footage up to a wall-sized screen. He walks around his desk, gesturing to the screen. Images of wood and rock kidnapping humans appear.
Were these the men that you let leave the Terra system?
Yes, sir, but they were Avante, and we had reason to—
Please explain why your ship's log shows that you slowed down to let them through the portal.
We were confident that you, with your fully functioning firepower, would be able to stop them. Apparently we were incorrect.
Curious, as they never made it through the secure portal. Also curious is that your superintendent notified me that you originally let them pass without scrutiny through your customs service.
Are you accusing us of something?
Your actions, or rather your lack of actions, allow the takers to get away with their crime. What conclusion would you arrive to other than collusion?
Oh, that's ridiculous. You know the Nero procedure wouldn't permit any type of illegal cooperation.
But we don't know how they got away. Perhaps that should take priority?
My priority is the security of the Avante system, as yours should be the security of Terra.
They were Avante kidnappers. They were your people working for your company.
That means nothing.
It does not mean nothing.
What does that mean?
You know exactly what that means.
Are you threatening me, Officer Human?
You want to find out?
Please. 4-on-1 is barely a challenge. Do you think I got this position by losing the pre-election battle royale?
With all due respect, Prime Minister, we'd like to see you back that up.
Bancroft and Geoffreys leap to their feet, and the four quickly spread out, flanking Swann.
I'm gonna take your dumb bow tie as a prize.
Piper, engrossed in her PDU, waves a hand as she shouts to the others.
What if they used a sideways maneuver into the Primum system?
Sideways maneuvers are illegal, and I was assured by our engineers that they were made impossible.
What's a sideways maneuver?
Well, They're not impossible, sir. Just incredibly difficult. Apparently, these aren't normal traffickers.
What's a sideways maneuver?
Then we need to send someone after them in order to ensure that they don't succeed at this again.
Agreed.
And we should send a training squadron to Terra System to educate the Earthlings how to better recognize the criminal element.
What the quark is a sideways maneuver?
A sideways maneuver uses a portal to travel to a parallel system. One that isn't directly connected.
If that's the case, then there's only one other charted system close enough for them to reach.
Assuming they're even from a charted system.
So they somehow accessed Primum? A place that we were told was permanently gated.
I guess the Avante engineers should share some of the responsibility, probably.
Sir, we have
our own sideways maneuver prepared to take us to the Primum system. We are prepping a security vessel now.
Belay that order, Deputy Piper. They'll be going.
What? No way.
Your malfeasance is why we have our first security threat in over 3 cool-ops. You're going.
You're not our boss. You're not going to tell us what to do.
Fine, I'll ask your boss. There, I asked her and she agrees with me. You're going.
Do you think we're idiots?
You are from Earth.
You didn't call anyone.
You just checked the weather. It's up on the screen.
Swann checks over his shoulder to see that he did indeed change the display to a weather app. Bancroft glares at him.
You know what? Fine. We are going to go.
Now I don't want you to go. Deputy Piper, you're going.
Are you serious? No, we're going.
Great, but when you fail and the Primum or the Ebrius kill you and your homely crew and turn your bones to dust or whatever unsophisticated method they use, we will send in our security vessels to clean up all of this mess, and Terra will be held responsible and presented with a bill, and a tax, and a lecture.
Piper hurries to keep pace with Bancroft's stride as the rest of the patrol follow.
This is a suicide mission, Crystal.
You were ready to go, Priscilla.
Yes, but I have a fleet of security vessels at my disposal. There's nothing wrong with your ship, but it's only one. And there's only 4 of you. You won't be able to do this on your own.
But we won't be on our own. I've already called in Sergio Blade.
Who's Sergio Blade?
Who's Sergio Blade?
Sergio Blade, 58, rugged and with a face that's seen 1,000 battles, holds a subdue disruptor. He leans with his back up against the wall.
Sergio Blade created the Earth Fortification Brigade and ran lead on every mission for the first 15 cycles.
Blade steps into the hallway, yelling and firing his disruptor. Globes of green electrogel fly towards his enemies.
In his spare time, Blade would volunteer to keep Mars safe while it was still in its vulnerable infancy.
A band of Ebrius pirates have fortified themselves in a hospital. Blade crouches behind a red rock, using a pair of zoom binoculars to scope out the building. Blade kicks in the door of the hospital, yelling and firing his disruptor.
Blade single-handedly defeated the new Viet Cong 3 rotations ago when they threatened to break Earth's unity agreement, armed only with his subdue disruptor and a unicycle.
Blade runs out from behind the tree, yelling and firing his disruptor, still carrying the unicycle.
That mission served as the inspiration for a hollow Mopic.
On Blade's arm is a young lady. Her dress is fashioned to look like his disruptor. He shoots finger guns at the nearest photographer.
Sergio Blade will stop at nothing to get the job done. Sergio Blade is going to help us get those humans back.
Blade sits in his captain's chair, sipping from a bottle of space whiskey and smoking a space cigarette.
I'll meet you on the Terra side of the Pluto portal, Captain. We'll go through the Primum together.
He nods coolly at his communications officer, who ends the transmission. Blade rises to his feet. He picks up his disruptor and stares at it lovingly.
Once more, old friend.
Sir, I must protest.
Blade's ship approaches Starship Patrol November. Their airlocks connect with the tunnel that extends out from the November.
Sir, we can't let you go without us.
Boys, this mission calls for a small task force, and I trust the Starship Patrol with my life. I'll be back before you know it.
But sir!
Once I'm on their ship, you get back to protecting planet Earth under the Emergency Plan Protection Act of the Triumphant. Do not let me down. Oh, don't eat that last slice of birthday cake. I want that when I get back.
Blade enters the airlock. The patrol are waiting eagerly for Blade to come through. Kayla and DeCarroll fight to see through the small viewport window. Blade's ship undocks and dynaspeeds back to Earth in a blue blur. Blade salutes the patrol, who giddily salute back. He walks through the airlock toward them and reaches out to the control panel to key in the wrong command. The airlock opens behind Blade, who is instantly sucked into the vacuum of space and violently compacted into nothing. Wood and rock land the transportation ship in a cloud of dust. Killam Town is comparable to Earth's Old West. There are 2 saloons, 1 bank, a small hotel, and mean-looking, purple-horned Abrians everywhere, all carrying various weapons. They're dressed similarly to Earth's cowboys, barring the Stetsons. Wood and rock, now wearing oxygen bubbles, walk cautiously toward the Killam Saloon and push through the swinging doors. Wood speaks quietly with the bartender. The bartender nods toward the back room. Wood gestures subtly with his head at Rock, who follows him. The Abrians in the saloon eyeball the pair suspiciously. Wood and Rock enter the dimly lit room, straining their eyes to see...
Y'all looking for me?
A bottle clinks on the rim of a glass as Lycos pours herself a drink. Wood and Rock can now see her sitting at a table in the corner, her purple horns casting a shadow on the wall behind her.
Come here. Take a seat.
Wood and Rock comply. As they near, they see that Lycos doesn't exactly look like other Abrians. Her hair is slicked down and she wears a yellow rhinestone suit.
Do you recognize the surprise in my eyes that you've even arrived?
No?
Or perhaps I should rephrase. I admire the brazen ways in which you phase into the making of criminals by taking Terra from where life's imprisonment for dissidents who traffic humans through outer space is commonplace. Well, now that I'm involved with you, I can't dissolve our deal or dispute that I am any less culpable. And multiple charges that I've already accrued, added to include this very illegal agreement for me, seems a tad inconvenient. In fact, your very presence in this establishment will attract the constabulary, and I prefer to resist banishment to the Opulentus Torture Penitentiary.
Then help us, as you agreed to do, and we'll be on our way. Nobody needs to get sent to the torture mines.
Now slow down. Nothing's yet been decided. I'm still mulling over the payment option that you so graciously provided.
Lycos swipes across the table, and the hollow image of a landscape appears in front of them.
That there's an awful lot of private property. To turn it down, a man would be sure to face a life of mockery, but I'm not completely sold on living within the confines of being forced to wear a CO2 breathing field at all times.
Then do what you want to do with it. Sell it. Give it away. Undergo a bronchi transplant procedure.
Last one seems a tad extreme.
We'll find someone else who can help us.
And you'd absolutely be swimming upstream. Only a fool would pass up this opportunity.
Then don't pass up on it.
Hey, friend. Don't try to push me. You off-worlders are awful unworldly. I'm weighing the pros and cons of this plan. And you're lucky that I'm such an ethical businessman. 'Cause I could easily mind sway you and tell you to just give me the land.
Wood and Rock stand, under the influence of Lycos' mind sway. Wood extends his hand for a handshake.
Yes, sir. The land is yours.
But I'm not going to wreck you.
Mind sway broken, Wood and Rock sit down heavily.
Thank you so much. What do we do next?
Oh, I should have my head checked. You'll have to give me the codes for that transportation ship you parked out by Cleric's Road so I can clean your cargo and wipe your digital traces. Oh, and you can probably remove those ridiculous disguises from your innocent faces.
Wood and Rock exchange a look. Then they each pull off the gill prosthetics they've been wearing on their necks and remove their contact lenses. Their eyes glow orange. They stand up to leave, but Lycos holds up her hand.
Oh, one more thing.
What?
Pay
might tab with the bartender on the way out? You can get yourselves a drink first, on me. He makes an excellent grey stout.
Starship Patrol hold their position, looking down at Abrius.
I already don't like this planet. I bet there's nowhere to get a decent cup of caf either.
Are we sure about going down there, sir?
No. But once we get our people back, perhaps Superintendent Holland will let us be. So it's going to be worth it? I guess.
Captain, the signal from the transportation ship just disappeared.
Can you figure out where it disappeared from?
No.
Try and determine the closest location possible and give Kayla those coordinates.
Already done, Captain.
The vibe I'm getting from this situation is not the greatest.
Terranburg is the Kansas City to Killamtown's Claremore. Slightly more modern, taller buildings, 9 city blocks in a grid instead of a single main street. Kayla brings Starship Patrol November into a landing on the outskirts of Terranburg, and the ramp to the ship extends downwards. Bancroft leads her crew off the ship.
This is as close as I could figure, Captain.
Good work, DeCarroll. We will need to find the highest ranked official in the area to get their advice on where we could find those traffickers.
Maybe we should, start over there, Cap?
Why there, Geofferies?
There's a big sign that reads, Governor's Office.
All right, let's go put our shirts in the laundry. I was trying to mix it up a little. No? Understood. All right, let's go.
Bancroft approaches the receptionist, a 24-year-old Abrian who reclines with her bare feet on the desk.
Well, hello there, handsome human. What brings you to Ebrius? Official business, I'm assuming, or something a lot less serious?
Hi. Hello. Hi there.
Behind her, DeCarroll loudly clears his throat.
Right. Hi. Hello there.
You mentioned that, cutie.
Good point. Hello. I am Captain Crystal Euthanasia Bancroft, and I would like you to take me to your leader.
You'd like to see Governor Farlington? For you, Captain Lover, that can easily be done.
She reaches out and presses a button. The door to Farlington's office clicks open.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just so you're aware, he is extremely paranoid. He spends all his time locked away in his panic room to avoid his governing responsibilities. Maybe if you're convincing enough, you can entice him into providing the information that you seek.
How convincing would I need to be to entice you out?
That all depends on the choice of your technique.
Bancroft perches casually on the edge of the desk. Kayla and Geoffreys cross to her. They each grab one of Bancroft's arms and drag her towards Farlington's office. Bancroft looks longingly over her shoulder at the receptionist. DeCarroll follows them.
Come on, Cap. You're married.
She's mind-swaying you, Cap.
Sir, you must avoid maintaining auditory contact with that intoxicating vision of happy, warm feelings. There's no way we could explain this to Rory. Your husband.
The blinds are closed. The only source of light dribbles out of a desk lamp. The patrol peer into the darkness, trying to locate the governor.
DeCarroll, you're the communications officer. Communicate.
Hello? Anybody here?
Well done.
I should probably go back and ask the secretary.
No.
I think they prefer administrative assistant.
Farlington's voice echoes through a loudspeaker system.
Who's there? State your business.
We're with the Terra System Starship Patrol. We have some questions that we'd like to ask you.
With a hiss, the wall next to Kayla slides open. Farlington, 49, rotund and diminutive, stands framed in the doorway, backlit by his panic room.
You're from Earth?
The blinds are now open, and natural light spills into the room. Farlington paces nervously behind his desk. The patrol lounge in various positions around the office.
You've been working here for 5 rotations?
I've been trapped here.
Trapped?
I'm from Earth, but I suppose you could gather that from my lack of horns, gills, and blue skin. I was told that I was going to be a part of the initial foray into an undiscovered system, and I knew history had its eyes on me, but I don't even know if I care about that now.
You don't want to be governor?
Do you know what it's like to govern people who categorically don't want to be governed? They murder on a whim, they cheat at cards, they do whatever they want without any regard or empathy, and the music that they listen to is unreservedly vile. I've wanted to leave here more than I've ever wanted anything.
We can arrange that.
Really? You'll take me with you?
Depends. Will you be bringing your receptionist?
Cap.
Come on, sir.
Alright, if you can help us find the stolen earthlings, then we'll arrange to take you with us when we leave.
I can do that.
Geofferies sits in the front passenger seat next to Farlington. The others cram in the back of the tiny automobile. As they race through an empty landscape, Kayla grumbles.
I'm the pilot. I should be in the front seat.
We'll be at Killam Town in a matter of moments. There's a saloon there where I'm told most information can be bought. There's a man there. It's some fancy dude who should be able to help us out. We'll be able to find out where your traffickers are.
Thank you, Governor Farlington. We appreciate the assistance.
As my final act as governor, it is literally my pleasure to strike back at these icky aliens. My skin is tingling with anticipation.
It could also be the sun or fresh air.
When I was first given this commission, I was excited. I thought that I would be able to help tame the Ebrius, make them more civilized. But that proved to be a frustrating task, if not nearly impossible. It's as if they're all bred to be criminals. And I always knew there was some sort of human trafficking going on, maybe on a small scale, but it was nearly impossible to prove, and I couldn't do anything about it. But now that they've escalated it in such an extreme manner, and I have the protection of Starship Patrol, there's something I can do about it.
Well, we're glad that this is a mutually beneficial relationship, and that we're all being 100% professional about it as well.
You know, if this works, if you're able to help me tame these barbarians, maybe I'll stay on Ebrius. Maybe I'll be able to initiate the protocols I wrote when I first arrived.
Sorry, which protocols are those?
Well, for starters, off-worlders would be classified as illegals. For instance, I'd be okay because I'm the governor, but none of you would be able to get jobs here or live here or marry anyone from here. And all the Ebrius would have to convert to Farlingtism. Once they've all been converted, and the atheists and the agnostics and the resistors have been eliminated or banished to Primum, we'll begin to have some sense of cultivated order. Oh look, we're here.
Farlington's FSC tears through the town and screams to a stop in front of Killam Saloon, running over a family of 5 in the way.
Everybody out! It's the dawn of a revolution. The beginning of Farlingthism.
He hops out, newly energized, and skips toward the entrance of the saloon, followed by Geofferies. Bancroft, Kayla, and Carol fall out of the car and immediately help the family out from underneath. Bancroft apologizes to them.
Oh, I am so sorry about that. We don't actually know him. He's kind of just our ride out here.
Come now, dear friends of the Starship Patrol November. The deeds to our new life is missing only our signatures.
Sir?
He'll get us what we need, then we're gone.
Bancroft smiles weakly at the family as she turns and follows DeCarroll and Kayla. The patrol stand nervously near the entrance as Farlington marches straight toward the bartender, shouting and gesturing wildly. Lycos peers through the cracked door, watching Farlington pushing Ebrius around, herding them toward one side of the saloon. The Ebrius are confused and allow themselves to be told where to stand, but judging by the looks they're giving Farlington, their compliance will be short-lived. Wood and Rock enter the back room, and Lycos gestures for them to be silent.
Your ship is ready, and I think your stay on this planet is through, so get gone.
Thank you, Lycos.
I'll try to slow him down for you. So long.
Wood and Rock slip out the way they came. Lycos whistles through the cracked door at a large Ebrian man, who looks her way. Lycos beckons him over. A few of the Ebrians don't want to be told where to stand, and they move intimidatingly toward Farlington. The patrol quickly cross the room to stand next to Farlington. Bancroft steps up to the Ebrian. The look on her face makes the Ebrian take a small step backward.
We're not looking for trouble.
Farlington grabs Bancroft by the arm and pulls her back, away from the Ebrian man. He places her next to Kayla and leans in to speak intimately.
Let me deal with these people.
I think Cap was doing okay.
Trust me, they won't respect you if you show any weakness.
Was I showing weakness?
Well, you are a woman, sir.
Oh, right. I always forget to think about that.
Now listen to me, you lazy crotch goblins, you ugly pie-eating pirates, you purple-horned tone-deaf monsters. I am the governor of all Ibris. And I could have each and every one of you arrested for withholding information if you don't tell me about the 2 men that came in here with a whole stupid boatload of kidnapped humans.
And who is going to be doing the arresting?
Starship Patrol, obviously.
Is it true what he's saying?
Hypothetically.
Seems to me that either way, y'all are oxygen breathers.
Oh, really? And what tipped you off?
Well, I mean, the fact that you're wearing oxygen bubbles on your head, the fact that you got no horns, no gills neither. So you're clearly human.
Tell me something I don't know.
Your chin's gonna start hurting.
He punches DeCarroll square in the jaw.
Ha! I didn't know that was going to hurt. Everybody knows it hurts getting punched in the face. What I didn't know is that you were going to punch me, so who's the idiot now?
He's immediately punched again.
Still you, I'd reassert.
As DeCarroll bounces up again, slower this time, the patrol steps toward the Abrius. Glares fly around the room like popcorn on a popcorn throwing contest. Farlington physically begins to push the Abrius back.
You unrefined Ibris cretins! You've all had it now. You'll all be arrested and strung up from the highest honeylight tree, and all your families will be sent to work at the Cornberry Collection Centers. Arrest them, Bancroft!
My face could still take a few more hits, Captain.
Alright.
As one, the patrol adopt fighting stances. An Abrian grabs Kayla by the collar of her flight suit and pulls her toward him. He growls in her face.
Kayla!
Slap yourself in the face, Kayla.
Kayla's eyes widen in fright as her own right hand raises next to her face. She stares at it and tries to resist, but she strikes herself across the face, then looks at her betraying hand. Geoffreys steps towards the growler.
Clobber the other female.
Cap! I am so sorry.
Starship Patrol November, engage your auditory suppression units.
Each member of the patrol clicks a compartment on their belt, releasing a set of earbuds. Earbuds in, sound off, music on, mind sway nullified. The brawl begins. Bancroft leaps onto the nearest tabletop. She kicks anyone who attempts to grab at her until 3 Abrius wise up and tip the table over, sending her spilling to the floor. Kayla engages in a mano-a-mano match with an Abrius who is 2 feet taller than she is. Kayla has to leap up to punch him, but she doesn't back down. It's a surprisingly even fight. Geoffreys is swarmed by 7 Abrius. DeCarroll leaps at the pile, bowling them all to the floor. He and Geoffreys rise to their feet and stand back to back, the Abrius surrounding them. The Abrius attack, 1 or 2 at a time, but Geoffreys and DeCarroll are able to hold their own. Bancroft springs to her feet and throws 3 wild punches before she's tackled around the midsection and taken to the floor again. Farlington stands, somehow untouched, in the middle of the saloon, continuing his tirade.
You're gonna be sorry! You bread-eating hammerheads! You yoga-breathing mud waffles! You...
An Abrius flicks a lighter, its flame leaping from his hand. He holds it up to Farlington's oxygen bubble. The brawl grinds to a halt as Farlington goes up in flames. The patrol and Abrius all stare, eyes wide, as Farlington disappears in the flash fire. Within a matter of moments, Farlington is a pile of ashes. The Abrians turn their attention back to the patrol, who have vanished. The patrol run for their lives. Abrians pour out of the saloon, blinking in the blinding sunlight. One of them points up the street to where the patrol can just be seen disappearing down an alley.
Over there! Stop them before they get to the public square!
The Abrians tear up the street after the patrol. On the other side of the alley, the patrol look around frantically, removing their earbuds.
Geoffreys, where did you assign the retract signal to land the ship?
This way.
He leads the patrol to the east. Above them, the element transportation ship takes off, heading off-planet.
That's them!
Suddenly, Geoffreys stops as a flaming arrow spikes into the ground at his feet. The other 3, who are looking up at the transportation ship, slam heavily into his back. Abrius archers appear on the rooftops, firing at the patrol.
Run, Serpentine! Right angles!
I'm running at right angles.
No, you're running in a circle, and that's your left. Come on, this way.
Where did they get flaming arrows from?
And what were they using for fuel? There's no oxygen. That has been heavily established at this point.
Some things defy explanation.
This is true. I mean, look at how we're able to function perfectly as a team.
The team athletically avoid another round of arrows, using each other to flip and leap through to safety like a parkour ballet.
Once we're on the ship, we need to get airborne as quickly as possible so we can regroup.
The patrol skid to a halt, staring in disbelief, until an arrow zips past DeCarroll's head.
We can regroup somewhere else.
The Abrius hunt for the patrol, pouring through the small town. The patrol lay on the floor of the apartment. Geofferies hazards a peek through the window.
They are searching everywhere, and this town is minuscule. It's only a matter of time before they find us. How are we getting off this planet?
Just give me a second. I need to think.
Hey, do you think that was my fault back there? The whole oxygen thing and being mostly responsible for starting the fight?
No, not at all. That was all Farlington.
So, what do we do now?
Once we're off the planet, we should just leave the system and let the Avante deal with it.
No go. Once we lose that ship, there will be no way of saving our earthlings. Like, if we can move quickly and track the traffickers, we can let the Avante take it from there.
Okay.
Sounds good, sir.
Let's do this. For Governor Farlington.
Could we maybe do it for the humans that we let get kidnapped?
Yeah, that's actually probably better.
So, what's the first step, Captain?
There's only one thing we can do. To catch the criminals, we must first become the criminals.
We should probably also find disguises.
And not let on that we're wearing oxygen bubbles. That seems like an error.
And we'll need to find a ship.
Okay, so we can include all that in the thing that I just said. Let's go.
They exit the apartment, passing an old Abrius lady who's been tied to a chair and gagged. DeCarroll bows apologetically to her as he leaves.
Sorry, bye.
DeCarroll and Kayla sneak in through the back. They crawl under a counter and reach up, grabbing a stack of clothing. DeCarroll reaches up again, placing a pile of money where the clothing was. He thinks, then reaches up a third time and retracts one of the bills. He counts on his fingers, then nods, satisfied. The patrol finish getting dressed in their new duds, leather jackets, t-shirts, jeans. Kayla's jacket is far too large, and Geoffreys' is far too small. They look at each other, then exchange jackets. The crew looks as though their clothing was individually tailored. Bancroft nods her approval to DeCarroll and Geoffreys. Kayla holds up a can of pink spray paint. DeCarroll and Kayla watch from across the street as Geoffreys points out to Bancroft the ship he thinks they should take, a K-class Planet Hopper 109. Bancroft nods, then approaches the dealer, getting his attention. The dealer turns and Bancroft puts her arm around his shoulder, walking him toward a group of hover cycles. Geoffreys quickly searches the dealer's desk and finds the codes to the Planet Hopper 109. He pulls out a PDU and punches in the codes. Outside, the boarding ramp to the Planet Hopper 109 lowers and DeCarroll and Kayla scurry aboard. Bancroft looks over her shoulder at Geoffreys, who gives her the thumbs up. Bancroft nods, then turns the dealer towards her. She points up at the ceiling and then, when he looks up, punches him across the jaw. He crumples to the ground, unconscious. Bancroft returns Geoffreys' thumbs up. Bancroft tries to get comfortable in her new captain's chair.
You okay, Cap?
Oh, it's a ridiculous complaint, really. I just don't like this chair. It doesn't even have lumbar support.
Actually, it should. Did you check on the side?
Of course I checked on the side, DeCarroll. That was the first place I checked. Lumbar support is always on the side. There's no other place for it. God, DeCarroll!
Did you check on the other side?
Oh, found it. Thanks, Kayla.
Any sign of the traffickers, DeCarroll?
Nothing matching their signature. They must have had a scrub service while they were on Abrius.
Any ideas for how to track them?
The crew falls silent.
Cap?
Nothing. Damn. This is usually the point where I'm struck with a sudden idea.
What? You know I have a reminder set to take my space sickness pills.
No, that's not it. What if?
Could it be done?
Possibly, if we could get a large enough signal boost.
Wait, are you guys talking about creating a wide remote web to reactivate all of the Earth safety trackers?
Yeah, that's exactly what we were thinking.
We definitely weren't talking about a pizza dog burger place that delivers this far out in premium space, that's for sure.
Kayla, I need you to start building the signal booster.
Got it, sir.
Carol, I want you to start writing the program.
Already on it, Captain.
Geoffreys, take inventory of this ship's weapons.
Did it when we first got on board, Cap.
But real quick, Kayla, why did you put safety in air quotes?
But come on, sir. I mean, sure, in this specific case, there's a chance that they'll help ensure the safety of some Earthlings, but really? I mean, they're kind of just Big Brother making sure we're home by curfew, you know?
Shut up, man!
What if they're listening?
Oh, please. The Triumvirate aren't out here. We're on a stolen ship in a mostly uncharted system, and even if they were out here, they couldn't find us in order to spy on us, in order to...
We're under attack.
See? Nothing to worry about. We're just under attack. We're totally fine. We're just under attack is all.
Stay the previous orders. Kayla, evasive action 8-23-8. Geoffreys, shield up and prepare weapons. DeCarroll, figure out who's behind us.
2 Abris Zap Hunters, Captain.
2 Zap Hunters? That's what they send at us? Ha! We use Zap Hunters for target practice at the weapons monastery. They don't even have shields. Geoffreys, do I even need to give the order to fire?
You see, Cap, the thing about this ship, about most planet hoppers, specifically the 109, is...
There's no weapons.
We barely have a hull.
Well, that explains how you completed the weapons inventory so quickly.
Sir?
We don't stand a chance out in the open. Take us back to the surface, Kayla. We'll try and find some cover or lose them in the topography. And maybe remind me next time not to let Geoffreys choose the ship.
Starship Patrol is pursued by 2 Zap Hunters, clunky-looking but zippy 2-man ships. Each Zap Hunter has a large, stubby Gatling gun mounted on the roof that fires yellow balls of glowing evil. The planet hopper skims across the surface of Abrius with the 2 Zap Hunters close behind. The first Zap Hunter opens fire, destroying the planet hopper's sensor array.
Kayla, any suggestions?
I'm just trying to keep us in one piece right now, sir.
What about a forest?
What?
We find a forest and fly through it?
A forest?
Yeah.
The terrain outside couldn't be flatter or more absent of trees. Bancroft and Geoffreys stare at DeCarroll.
Imagine I'm giving you the same look, DeCarroll.
The ship is hit again.
Our shields are gonna go, Cap. One more hit like that and we're a gluten smear.
Let's do a surf stop.
Port side's no good. Too much damage.
Copy that. Preparing to shunt all shield energy to starboard.
The first Zap Hunter's Gatling gun glows as it begins to fire.
Execute!
Kayla spins the ship, skidding them in a half circle toward the first Zap Hunter. Geoffreys sends the shields flowing to their starboard side wing as the yellow balls of energy reach the planet hopper. The upturned wingtip, acting like a cricket bat, smashes the energy ball straight back at the first Zap Hunter. The Abrius pilot barely has time to register shock on his face as the Zap Hunter explodes. The second Zap Hunter quickly corrects course, flanking the planet hopper once more. It opens fire.
Evasive?
She's thrown to the side as Kayla whips the ship into emergency maneuvers.
Sorry, sir.
No, you acted appropriately. No apologies necessary, Kayla.
They're hit by the second Zap Hunter's fire.
Cap, we are starting to lose hull integrity.
Ideas?
DeCarroll holds out a small black cube. Bancroft frowns as she takes it from him.
There's one shot. I'd give it to Geoffreys, but...
Yeah, no, I agree. Cap's a better shot.
Bancroft pushes herself out of the captain's chair and rushes to the back of the ship, yelling over her shoulder.
Take us up into the clouds. It'll be our only advantage.
Bancroft punches the ramp control and it slowly lowers. Stepping down, fighting the winds that whip at her hair and threaten to pull her from the ship, she activates DeCarroll's cube. Zippity click-clack, out of the cube unfolds a rocket launcher. Bancroft hoists it onto her shoulder and closes one eye as she lines up her shot.
You messed with the wrong Starship Patrol.
Whoosh, she fires the rocket. It misses the Zap Hunter.
Did you shoot it yet, Cap?
Not yet. Just getting a lock on them.
She stares at the empty rocket launcher in her hands, and then flings it away like it's a pollen-covered viper during allergy season and she's allergic to snakeskin. The rocket launcher flips end over end out of the planet hopper, and is sucked through the Zap Hunter's air intake. The Zap Hunter explodes, the force knocking Bancroft off her feet. She lands painfully on her back.
Great shot, sir.
Good thing you went instead of Geofferies.
Hang on, man.
Let's go find our earthlings.
Wood and Rock enter the lab. Dr. Nolan is intently watching a display. Nolan's 7 assistants unload the canisters from the transportation ship. Nolan feels the presence of her company and turns to greet them. She embraces Wood and Rock. They look tired.
Gentlemen, you did it. You've taken the first step towards saving Primum. I know this has been taxing for you both.
It's emotionally draining, Doc. Taking the terrorists from their homes, now that we've had a few quiet moments to reflect on our actions. Now that it's real, you know?
I know, Wood. But there is no other option. Without them, our people would die. Believe me, I wish there was another solution, but there simply isn't.
I know that. And I know we were forced into stooping to this level. We were never really given a better option, were we?
We really weren't. But you two are heroes. Genuinely, I mean that. Especially you, Wood. Risking everything to help your friend save his family. Now go home, both of you. Rest. You probably don't want to be around for the procedure. It won't be particularly pleasant to witness.
Thanks, Doc.
He and Rock exit. Nolan sits down, rubbing her eyes. Staring at the ceiling, she runs her hand across her jaw, thinking. She speaks quietly to herself.
I hope somewhere out there, will forgive me for what I'm about to do.
Leaning forward, she presses the intercom button.
Prepare the Terra for the procedure.
Nolan's assistants bring in the last of the humans, removing them from the canisters and strapping them to gurneys on a conveyor belt. As the assistants leave the room, one by one, the humans' wrist PDUs begin to glow a gently throbbing blue. The Planet Hopper 109 enters Primum's atmosphere. Bancroft looks determinedly through the view portal as DeCarroll uses their makeshift tracker to guide Kayla toward the humans. Nolan sits in a rolling chair, focusing on the checklist for the procedure. She watches the simulation of needles poking through the X-ray of a human, all the way to the bone.
Computer, are all the machines properly calibrated?
Affirmative, Dr. Nolan. Once the bones have been penetrated, the electric pulse will desolidify them, and they will be vacuum extracted.
Computer. Begin procedure.
Procedure commencing, Dr. Nolan.
Nolan pushes off the floor and wheels her chair across the lab, towards the enormous window that overlooks the operating room. She hesitates, then looks down toward where the humans are now being pulled toward the angry-looking machinery.
Computer, halt procedure. Contact Wood and Rock and tell them to come here immediately.
Procedure halted, Dr. Nolan. Rock and Wood have been contacted.
Nolan furiously punches commands into her PDU as Wood and Rock run into the room.
Doc, you stopped the procedure?
Look at that!
Nolan doesn't look up, merely points toward the operating room.
What am I looking at?
Their wrists, Wood. Their wrists! Their PDUs have been reactivated, which means their safety trackers have been re-engaged. Once they had gone through the procedure, their PDUs would have sent automatic geostamp death notifications to Terra.
The override code is impenetrable. Nobody could have gotten around it. It's impossible.
Actually, it's possible. Very possible.
Wood, Rock, and Nolan whirl to find themselves facing Starship Patrol.
In fact, you overreaching primitives, it's probable.
You're kind of stepping on my moment, Geoffreys.
Come on, Cap, you always get the cool lines.
Well, if you had spent 6 years in solitude at the Elocution Convent, then you would know that it's not cool to use stars.
Maybe let's talk about this later.
Dr. Nolan turns to Wood.
We can't let them stop the procedure. The future of Primum depends on its success.
Wood nods, but it's Rock who steps forward to face the patrol.
Seriously? Not the large guy?
Rock leaps an impossible 7-foot-high leap and brings his fist down on the top of her head. Bancroft crumbles.
Oh! Oh no. Oh no, you did not just do that to my captain. Oh no!
Wood and Nolan duck under a table as Geoffreys charges Rock. Rock delivers a spinning kick to Geoffreys' chest, knocking him backwards. DeCarroll and Kayla dive at Rock. Kayla goes low as DeCarroll goes high. Rock twists in the air, avoiding both attacks. He grabs DeCarroll's shoulders and pulls himself around to land on DeCarroll's back. He drives DeCarroll into Kayla. Geoffreys swings Nolan's chair, smashing it over Rock's head. Rock is thrown forward but uses the momentum to turn it into a somersault. He slides on one knee, spinning around to face his attacker. Rock pushes off the ground, jumps and plants a foot on a control panel and launches himself fist first at Geoffreys. Meanwhile, Bancroft has regained consciousness. She looks around the room, attempting to regain her bearings. Wood takes Nolan's PDU from her and punches in a command.
Rock can handle these four, but we can't risk their reinforcements finding us. Computer, if you send an electro pulse through the operating room, will it destroy the Earth safety trackers?
Affirmative, Professor Wood.
Wood and Nolan look at each other. Nolan takes the PDU back from Wood. Across the room, Bancroft pulls herself to her feet and rushes towards them.
Initiate.
Initiated, Dr. Nolan. Any further orders?
Yes! Reactivate the procedure!
Bancroft dives at Nolan, wrapping her arms around Nolan's neck and pulling her backward. Nolan drops the PDU and Wood scrambles away.
Please repeat order, Dr. Nolan.
DeCarroll turns to face Wood, who is now standing on the edge of the room, wringing his hands.
Are you not getting involved in this?
I'd rather not.
DeCarroll shrugs, then turns back to the fight in time to get knocked over by Kayla, who's just been thrown across the room. Bancroft has Nolan in a sleeper hold. She hisses at Nolan through gritted teeth.
You go sleepy. 5 now.
Please. You don't know what we're trying.
She drops to her knees, her arms swatting listlessly at Bancroft.
Sleepy eyes!
Nolan falls flat on her face, unconscious. Bancroft breathes a sigh of relief, then springs to her feet to help the others, and is immediately knocked over by Kayla, who's just been thrown across the room. Geoffreys and DeCarroll decide to slow down the fight a bit. They flank Rock, circling him. Rock holds his fists up close to his face like a boxer when his right arm twitches. Twitches again, followed by the left. Concern crosses Rock's face as his wrists bend in towards his own chest, his arms lowering. DeCarroll and Geoffreys frown at each other, then turn back to Rock. Rock drops to one knee, his eyelids beginning to close.
This is weird, right?
Did his batteries just run out?
Wood pushes past DeCarroll as Rock collapses. Wood looks up at the patrol. Please, he needs help. Deputy Prime Minister Piper is let into Swann's office. She strides toward his desk. Swann looks up from his PDU.
Piper, tell me you have something, or tell me you have nothing so we can take the security vessels to Primum and start a hunt. I haven't participated in a good pursuit in a stag beast's age.
You may get your hunt, sir. Superintendent Holland has reported that Starship November has been destroyed.
Excellent.
Sir?
I mean, not excellent that they were destroyed. Excellent that we can take our security vessels and... You know what I mean. Prepare the fleet for immediate departure. I'll personally go and rescue the Terra.
Piper briskly nods her head and then hustles out of the office, keying in commands on her PDU as she goes. Swann looks back at his own PDU's view screen. He's on a call with Moreland Trudd.
Hi, it's me. I'm back.
It's the time, Swann. The destruction of a triumvirate ship is an act of war, and you are now legally within your rights to go to Prim and declare martial law.
Yes, sir.
There's a whole lot of unused land there, Swann. Too much. It gives me the creeps knowing how unused it is, and all those trees and fields. Oh, what a waste. You know, I've got some really great people here. Some really great people, and they could absolutely build something great on that land. I want that land, Swann. Go get it. Claim it for the Opulentus, and the Avante too, I guess.
Yes, sir.
And Swann.
Yes, sir?
Once you've secured Primum, go ahead and include Abrius in military law, and then you will take over governmental control of Earth and all of the Terra system. They had their chance, and they blew it. Oh, they blew it big time. I'll be invoking the emergency protocol, which will grant you whatever power you'll need.
Sir?
Hey, we gave them a chance, and they failed. You know, they failed in a big way. It's sad. Well, for them. Not for us. It's good for us, but sad for them.
Yes, sir.
Get me that land.
Nolan is tied up in a corner, still unconscious, next to an equally trussed up Rock. Wood is secured to a chair. He attempts to adjust his arms against the uncomfortable restraints. He looks at Carol, frowning.
Because you're like humongous and could probably eat at least 2 of us.
Where'd you get that?
He had it in his boot. I think it's adrenaline.
Oh, sure. Because that gargantuan monster needs to be pumped up anymore.
Bancroft approaches Wood with the taped-up pieces of the chair that Geoffreys had smashed over rock earlier. She places the chair down and gingerly sits on it. It holds her weight for 1 second before she and the chair crash to the floor.
I think I shall stand.
Probably best, Cap.
Bancroft addresses Wood.
Well?
The Opulentus.
What about them?
They're in control of the Avante.
Are you saying that you imagined a conspiracy theory where the Opulentus are using the Avante as their lackeys?
Yes, except it's not a theory.
Please, the Avante are in the Protection Assembly. They signed the same oath as everyone in the Triumvirate. They wouldn't conspire with another system.
An oath can be broken, and Prime Minister Swann isn't immune to accepting bribes.
Why would he take a bribe?
He's a politician. Is that not enough?
No greed in the Triumvirate. We are all equal.
Please, have you been to the Opulentus system? There's so much development that they've run out of planets to build their towers on.
Yes, but that's different. Okay, maybe there is greed in the Triumvirate. So the Opulentus are bribing Prime Minister Swann. Let's say that's been established. Now you say why you've been kidnapping humans.
Our people have been sick for generations, as far as we can remember.
Primum citizens have set up a makeshift triage where doctors, including younger Nolan, tend to the sick Primum.
And then, one day, we were offered a reprieve. We used to trade medical aid for our carbon dioxide. We worked together to help each other, but soon the Avante discovered another new system, Opulentus.
Prime Minister Swann's shuttle lands on Opulentus in the middle of an insane party.
We slowly grew more neglected, and our people fell to the sickness again. We tried to contact the Avante, but their communication with us became inconsistent. They were completely wooed by the wealth of the Opulentus. After the Avante discovered Terra system, the Opulentus convinced them that we weren't worth keeping around anymore. Moreland Trud made the argument that they could trade their overabundance of clean oxygen to Earth, who desperately needed it, and take advantage of their higher yield of greenhouse gases.
Wood walks amongst the sick Primum. He reaches Rock, who's sitting with his sick sister, mother, and father.
We'd been abandoned, our future stolen from us. We knew that without the Avante medicine, we weren't going to survive. And all because you on Earth are just dirtier than we are, more disgusting, more willing to destroy your planet rather than suffer the slight inconvenience of keeping it clean. Greedy enough to think that you could bleed your planet and still somehow survive. You're a bunch of idiots, really. It's surprising that you haven't found a way to destroy space travel yet.
Well, that was a longer story than I was expecting.
It still doesn't explain why you took the humans.
DeCarroll has been examining Nolan's work.
They're attempting to mine us.
Like as if we're some kind of gold mine or something?
Yes, Geoffreys, exactly like that.
Hey man, don't get uppity with me. It's not like mining people is a common thing we run across all the time. Oh, there's another people mine.
What are they mining us for?
There's something in our biology that they need. DeCarroll, get us in touch with the Avante. If they had the medical ability to help before, I'm sure we can...
No, you can't. Swann isn't to be trusted. He'll get rid of all of us to keep this a secret.
How do we even know that what you're telling us is the truth? Maybe this is a classic story switcheroo and you'll follow it with an escape, a double cross, and a turntable's evil laugh.
Rock and I had to infiltrate the Avante to get access to their transportation ships. And while we were creating false identifications, we discovered an archive of communications between Swann and Trud. They prove everything that I say is true.
Then we will look in the same place.
We must have triggered something. They changed their security protocols, and before we can get around them, Swann had the records destroyed.
Well, that's convenient.
But we were able to make a copy first. It's on a gigadisk.
Oh, no, that is convenient. Now, where is it?
Get me to Avante, and I'll take you to them.
This all sounds suspiciously odd.
I agree with Geoffreys.
Thank you, Kayla. My instinct often speaks the truth.
All right, calm down.
Captain, there's a system-wide broadcast from Prime Minister Swann. He's demanding that the traffickers identify themselves and surrender.
This is not good.
Patch it over to my PDU. Prime Minister Swann.
Captain Bancroft, you're alive. It was reported your ship was destroyed.
It was, but we were still able to complete the mission.
You found the Terra.
Yes, sir. And the traffickers on Primum.
Excellent. We're approaching Primum now. Get your communication officer to send us your coordinates and we'll bring the takers back to Avante for their trial.
Copy that, sir.
Wood looks pleadingly at Bancroft.
Swann betrayed us. He's been poisoned by the Opulentus. He will betray you too once they decide you are no longer useful. What's to stop them from taking all of Terra?
Cap, we can't trust a trafficker.
But what if this is all justified?
How could this be even a little justified? Look what they did. There's human strapped machinery down there. The operating room.
But what if, and it's obviously a far-fetched if, what if he's telling the truth?
Sir?
Swann's security vessel has landed next to the Planet Hopper 109. The patrol watch as Nolan and Rock, each strapped to their own floating gurney, and Wood in shackles, are taken toward the ship. Bancroft stands a little distance away, speaking to Piper.
They'll be publicly tried and convicted. You did a good job, Crystal.
Bancroft stares off into the distance.
Crystal? Are you okay?
Were the Primum originally part of the Triumvirate?
Yes, of course. You didn't know that?
No. I don't think anyone on Earth does.
Well, it was a long while ago. But yes, the Primum was the first system we discovered. Why do you ask?
Why were they cut off?
Primum was removed from the Triumvirate because they broke the rules of the Intergalactic Declaration.
How could you let that happen in good conscience, Priscilla?
They broke the rules, Chris. The same would happen to the Avante, or the Terra, or the Opulentus.
And the Declaration must be upheld at all costs.
Don't give me that. You understand how important the Declaration is. It's there for all of our reciprocal protection. You're one of its officers.
It also says in the Declaration that it's illegal to withhold medical aid from anyone who should require it.
Of course. That's the first 37 pages of the second chapter.
Then what about all of the sick people here? Why were they denied medical aid?
What sick people?
Although smaller, Bayer City has a similar look to Killam Town. Buildings line the length of their main street. All over the street, on sidewalks, on balconies, the citizens of Primum lie either sick or dying. Bancroft and Piper walk carefully, slowly, towards the citizens. Some of them have enough energy to raise their heads, curious about their new visitors. Most do not. Bancroft and Piper look at each other. A citizen stands, weakly, mumbling at them.
Please. Please.
Piper's eyes grow wide. Bancroft looks around frantically, searching for a non-existent remedy to help the Primum. Maybe inside the saloon? She strides away from Piper, around the corner. Inside is no different. Primum citizens are propped up against the furniture and walls in various states of declining health. Bancroft rushes to the bar, reaching for the nearest bottle. It's empty. So is the next, and the next. They're all empty. The citizen has stumbled into the saloon, flanked by Piper, who is clearly uneasy. The citizen and Bancroft look at each other. He's wondering who she is, and she's wondering how this happened. Outside, the sounds of a floating space car approaching. Bancroft gives one last look to the citizen, then pushes past a dazed Piper. The floating space car stops, and 10 seemingly healthy Primum pile out, immediately tending to the sick. One pushes past Bancroft into the saloon as Piper exits. She stands next to Bancroft, speechless. They watch for a moment as triage is performed.
Who are you?
Bancroft and Piper search for the source of the voice. Valentine, a field medic in her 30s, marches toward them.
What are you doing here? You're not from around these parts. If you're not here to help, and you're not in need of medical attention, then I suggest you remove yourselves from the area. This is not a tourist attraction.
She turns away from them, disgusted. Bancroft and Piper look at each other. They feel helpless. Bancroft and Piper enter the shuttle. Piper sits on a passenger bench, her head in her hands. Bancroft leans against the interior wall, her eyes searching the air for answers.
They're so unwell. All of them. Dying. How could Swann let this happen? Did he know?
I believe he knew.
But then why? I mean, the declaration wouldn't allow us. I mean, the neural procedure was specifically designed to prevent this type of... This should never have happened.
I know that the traffickers on Swann ships are criminals, and normally we don't listen to criminals, but I think they're telling the truth here.
That they were forced out of the triumvirate? I can't understand this at all. Okay, so they don't supply as much CO2 or methane as Earth, but there's still so much that they could offer us as partners. I mean, just the amount of space here.
What?
What?
The amount of space here?
Yeah. There's just tons of land.
So, why would that be something to offer?
It's a commodity.
Oh no. It's a commodity.
I just said that.
This is a huge planet, fairly undeveloped. Lots of open space.
So, get a realtor. What's your point?
What would you say the Opulentus are known for?
Besides constructing giant gold buildings over every available space in their system?
They've run out of room. There's nowhere else for them to build.
So...
What if they want this planet?
Oh no! What if they want this planet?
And they abandoned the Primum on purpose. They wanted them to die out. Oh god, we gotta get back to my patrol. We gotta do something!
Wood sits in a cell, alone. In cells on either side of him are Rock and Dr. Nolan, both still unconscious. They're separated from each other by thin red energy partitions. Prime Minister Swann enters. He takes a long look at Wood, then pulls up a chair and sits close to Wood's cell.
I've seen the security hollows of you and your partner at work. And I retrieved a copy of your ship's digital trace from that Ebrius that you paid with your land. Did you know that you would keep a copy of everything to protect yourself? I'll wager that you did not. It's odd. Judging by your massive size, I would have thought that you were the strongman of the operation, but strangely, that's not the case. You're somehow the brains behind most of this. Obviously, besides the sleeping doctor who developed the procedure that my Starship Patrol interrupted. I hope you weren't under the impression that you could have somehow saved your species with your primitive knowledge of biology. So here's my proposal. I know that somewhere on Avante 1 you had copies of falsified documents, confiscated propaganda written by the Primum. Tell me where they are and exactly what you said to Captain Bancroft, and I'll make sure the deaths of your friends are quickish. Fine, take your time. There's no rush. I'm going to the cafeteria to get a pastrami sandwich on Bry. You just sit here and think about what you want to say to me. And don't forget that there's absolutely nobody who's coming to save you.
We're going to save the traffickers.
Bancroft and Piper address the rest of Starship Patrol November.
What?
Why? Seriously?
We're going to save the traffickers. Look, even though I'm not certain they're telling the truth about being betrayed by the Avante, there's still something going on here. It all feels very wrong. But we don't have absolute proof until they take us to the evidence they stashed away, and we analyze it for authenticity. And we're not playing skiddly-whiffers here, so I'm being incredibly serious.
This is crazy, Cap. Do you really think that Prime Minister Swann is behind all this?
More likely it's all king and president of all Opulentus, Morland Trudd.
Of course, Deputy Piper is also slightly biased.
Captain, we can't believe 3 Primum who kidnapped somewhere between 250 and 300 Earthlings.
It's odd that we still don't have an exact tally on that.
Piper and I saw the amount of sick and dying Primum. I'm not condoning the actions of the takers, but it's possible that they had some reason And that's what we need to find out. At the very least, the Opulentus and the Avante are in violation of the Declaration's Aid Treaty.
That's the first 37 pages of the second chapter.
I should have paid more attention. I had this notion, this nagging suspicion for a while now, but I just ignored it.
Yeah, I get those whenever we fly through a ghost graveyard.
Ever since Swann was re-elected Prime Minister, which in itself was a weird thing, because the vote was really close, but they refused to do a recount, he's rewritten the Intergalactic Declaration to include things that, at the time seemed minor.
Like what?
Well, harsher punishments for breaking the Declaration, pardons for past violations, the ability to execute prisoners, in any perceived act of war or terrorism, allowing the Avante to legally occupy the enemy planets.
I feel like maybe you don't know what a minor issue is.
So Swann wants war.
He wants the Primum system.
But won't the truth come out once the traffickers have been tried by a randomly selected and unbiased jury on Avante 1?
I don't think they're going to have a trial.
You think they'll be offered a plea bargain?
Once Swann can confirm the location of the stolen documents, he'll kill them.
And we'll have no way of uncovering the truth.
Wood sits quietly, meditating, as Swann re-enters the holding area carrying a plate.
That was a delicious sandwich.
He sits back down in front of Wood, who opens his eyes. Swann offers Wood the plate.
I wasn't in the mood for the coleslaw. You want it?
No, thanks.
Swann withdraws the plate, eyeing the slaw, then tosses it to a nearby guard. The guard, taken by surprise, fumbles the catch, and finely shredded cabbage sprays everywhere. Swann frowns at him, then turns his gaze back to Wood.
Probably the right call. So, are you ready to tell me what the patrol knows?
Everything.
Great. I'm glad you're being reasonable. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying they know everything. That's everything.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Here's something I bet you don't understand. Now that the Earth people know the truth, you're not going to be getting away with everything you've been getting away with anymore.
You happy with how you phrased that?
Not especially, no. But you get my meaning.
Sure. Now here's something that you don't understand. I'm working with the most advanced technology in all the systems, and I've got access to the deep pockets of the Opulentus. I can do anything I want. Here, check this out as an example.
In her cell, Nolan jumps on her gurney. She's violently electrocuted, all the way to death. Wood yells and rushes to the energy partition, trying to force his way through it, but it throws him backwards across his cell. He crashes heavily, lying motionless.
We were going to simply wait for the Primum to die out, but now, the moment we reach Avante space, you and Rock will be executed while attempting to escape, of course, because that's the best way to frame it so you look guilty. And we will have been given a tremendous excuse to waltz back to Primum and take whatever we want, which is the land. Has that been made clear? The Opulentus want to build on Primum, just so we're all on the same page.
Swann rises, looking at Wood, who is still not moved.
I know it's looking grim right now, but try to enjoy your last few moments alive. Look, I'll even lower the partition so you can be with your buddy. And in case you were wondering, it is because of that kind of compassion that I've been re-elected Prime Minister 6 galactic orbits in a row. Ta-ta, mother heifer.
He exits, and the energy partitions between the cells drop. Wood opens his eyes, wincing. He crawls toward Nolan and checks the doctor's pulse. Nothing. Wood closes Nolan's eyes and says a silent prayer. Wood then crawls to Rock. He sits on the floor, leaning his back against Rock's bed. Saddened, he thinks for a moment. Then he reaches down to his boot, pulls back on the sole, which clicks, and then rotates it, exposing a false bottom. He looks around the holding area. The only guards aren't paying any attention. Wood removes a small syringe full of yellow liquid and palms it. Piper's security vessel floats in orbit when, bang! They're fired upon by one of the 3 other Avante security vessels.
Report!
It was a warning shot, sir.
From whom? There are no other ships in proximity besides...
Message coming through now, sir.
On the view screen, Prime Minister Swann.
Prime Minister Swann, are you under attack as well, sir?
Not exactly. You were a fantastic deputy, Piper. I'm not happy about having to do this, but you've been relieved of your duties. Under the Intergalactic Crisis Decree, I order the arrest of Priscilla Piper and the Starship Patrol November.
What a dragging-crotched butterface.
The Avante crew rise and draw their weapons, pointing them at Piper and Starship Patrol. Each person on the bridge has a counterpart to face off against.
Surrender. Please.
Sir?
Not likely.
The patrol move as one, striking out quickly at the Avante crew. A quick unison wrist flip, and 2 seconds later, they've taken control. With the Avante electro-shackled together at the back of the bridge, Bancroft and the patrol take over at their stations.
Geoffreys, arm all weapons. To Carol, locate Swann's security vessel and get Kayla a direct route. Kayla, off like a dirty Glenfin shirt.
What about me, Captain Bancroft?
Might want to buckle up, baby. This ain't gonna be a pie stroll.
Piper sits at the navigator station as Kayla sends the ship shooting forward through space. Piper's security vessel tears off in pursuit of Swann.
Captain, they're attempting contact.
Ignore them. Either way, they're going to find out that we've taken over their ship.
Torpedo incoming.
Rotate shields to absorb the impact.
Geoffreys engages the shields. The ship shudders but holds.
Swann's vessel is getting away.
Get us to him, Kayla. Geoffreys, make with the booms and bangs.
Geoffreys grins, then begins locking weapons on the other Avante vessels. The patrol engage. There are 4 enemy Avante security vessels total. Swann's capital ship, the 1st security vessel, the 2nd security vessel, and the 3rd security vessel. Geoffrey's initial shots hit the 1st vessel and Swann's. Both ships immediately take evasive action, circling around. Kayla swings Piper's vessel to follow Swann's ship, but they're cut off by the 2nd vessel. Geoffreys fires, but now they're flanked by the 1st and 3rd vessels, whose lasers pepper their hull.
Evasive.
On it, sir.
I've got a lock on their engines.
Fire, Geoffreys!
Geoffreys complies, and the 4 torpedoes he sends across the void hit the 3rd vessel's rear. The vessel's engines crumple and separate from the rest of the vessel, which, its hull compromised, immediately crumples in on itself. Swann's ship appears ahead of them, firing all its weapons.
Do you have a plan, Captain?
Shields holding, Cap.
To Carol, where are the other 2 ships?
One at 17-6 Alpha 12 Neener, the other at 4.
Kayla, take us straight at Swann's ship. Give her everything.
Kayla frowns, but does as she's told. They zoom towards Swann's ship, the 1st and 2nd vessels falling into pursuit of the patrol.
Hold trajectory, Kayla.
Swann's ship draws nearer in a game of space chicken. And nearer. And nearer.
Wait, Kayla, wait. Prepare for a penny lane.
Kayla watches Swann's ship hurtling toward them, her fingers caressing the controls. She begins to tap her finger with anxious patience.
Now, Kayla!
Kayla rolls Piper's much smaller vessel out of the way just as they're nearly on Swann. Swann's ship begins a slow turn as it tries to keep up with Piper's. The 1st and 2nd ships didn't anticipate the move and head straight for Swann. The 1st ship barrel rolls out of the way, but the 2nd ship isn't as quick. It brushes against Swann's ship.
All weapons on Swann's capital ship are offline.
We may actually stand a
Boom! Piper's ship is rocked as they're hit by torpedoes from the 1st ship. The crew look at Bancroft, who's just jinxed them.
Sorry, I know the rules, I'm sorry.
Cap, Swann's getting away. He's heading for Abrius.
Swann's capital ship is indeed attempting to hightail it away from the fight.
I'm on him, sir.
Kayla rolls their ship over and around the 2nd vessel, which is coming back at them. The 2nd vessel fires.
Shields are down to 20%, Captain.
We need to hit them back. Geoffreys!
Working on it, Cap. Stupid right-hand setups.
Geoffreys fires. A missile flies from Piper's ship and spirals perfectly through the viewport on the side of the 1st vessel ship, straight into their engine bay. It strikes the engine, which explodes. The 1st vessel begins to crumble.
Wow. That was a shot.
As long as Geoffreys has a working missile cannon, we have a chance.
Boom! Another barrage of torpedoes from the 2nd vessel.
Cap, missile cannons are down.
We're approaching Abrius, sir. They're almost at the portal.
Captain?
Bancroft looks around the bridge at her crew. She and Piper exchange a look.
Okay, I've got a plan.
Boom! Another hit.
We're down to 1 torpedo bay. Only 2 shots left.
Shields are almost gone too, sir. We're rapidly bleeding power from all systems.
Captain, Swann appears to be shunting power from their weapons to their engines. They're going to outrun us.
Sir, Swann is going to try to use Abrius as a shield. Once they've cleared this out, then they'll be out of range. The polar magnetic interference is already...
She trails off, seeing something in front of them.
Oh no.
Bancroft looks up ahead. The 2nd Avante security vessel is moving into position, in between the patrol and Swann.
They know we can't catch Swann, and we're nearly out of weapons.
There goes our shot, Cap.
Bancroft stands up, looking down toward Abrius, sitting peacefully below them. She makes a decision.
To Carol, I need calculations for an Everlong. Account for variations in the stratosphere. Kayla, move us closer to the planet. Coordinates 5/31/11. Geoffreys, get ready to fire the last torpedoes as soon as Carol gets...
Calculations ready, Captain.
Piper's vessel descends, sitting just above the stratosphere. The second Avante vessel moves to match their trajectory. Ahead, Swann's ship is nearly out of range.
In position, sir.
Set, Cap.
Wait. What are you doing? There's no shot! The second ship is still in between us!
Fire!
Geoffrey sends the torpedoes as the second Avante vessel fires at the patrol. Hit, Piper's vessel begins to spiral down toward Abrius, smoke pouring through the engines as the torpedoes clear the underside of the second Avante vessel and skip off the stratosphere, ricocheting upwards where they clip Swann's security vessel. The patrol crash heavily on Abrius.
Report!
The bridge is awash with flashing orange lights and a barrage of klaxons threaten to deafen the entire crew.
Sir, we were hit by a torpedo.
Oh, really? Is that what happened? I realized we were hit. Give me a quarking damage report.
Engines failing, sir.
I'm assuming that we're conveniently too badly damaged to attempt a mid-flight personnel transfer.
Correct, sir.
Contact the remaining vessel and tell them to meet us on Abrius. What of the Starship Patrol and Deputy Piper?
They crashed on the surface, sir.
Then glide us to their location. I want to guarantee that they're dead.
Swann's security vessel stutters to a rough landing. A shuttle from the second security vessel floats down to land near them. The second security vessel stays in orbit. Swann leads a troop of soldiers down the lowered boarding ramp. He points to the east where Piper's vessel lays on its side, smoke billowing from it. Swann watches from a distance as the troop march toward the wreck. Boom! Piper's vessel explodes, the shockwave throwing the troop to the ground. Swann teeters on his feet, then smiles. He turns to his captain.
Begin the transfer of prisoners and crew. I don't want to be here any longer then.
Bancroft and Geoffreys leap out from their hiding places. Geoffrey clocks the captain across the jaw, knocking him out. Kayla and Carol emerge, standing high on opposing rocks, pointing disruptors at the troops.
Reach for the sky.
The troop lower their weapons, and Swann rolls his eyes.
Typical.
Shut up. What is?
All of this. Piper, you're alive.
Be quiet! How dare you? How dare you make me a proxy for all of your terrible plans?
You weren't complaining on payday or during any of the government-mandated twice-weekly holidays.
Swann, you disgust me. Oh, and you're definitely under arrest.
That's fine. You'll discover that I've already signaled the crew on my security vessel to kill the takers, so you won't find where the evidence is buried on Avante. Yes, I know about it, and you won't have any witnesses to corroborate any of this, so I would say that you've been politically outmaneuvered.
I have Starship Patrol November.
Oh, please. There's only 4 of them. None of you are going to leave this planet alive.
Then why does it matter if I have witnesses or not?
She wheels away from Swann, who takes a moment to consider what she just said. She got him, but did she actually... Piper turns to Bancroft as, in the near distance, 2 more troops of soldiers exit Swann's security vessel, running towards Swann on the patrol.
You need to rescue the takers, or we won't have proof of any of this.
Bancroft signals Kayla, who's helping Carol secure their prisoners, and then turns to Geoffreys.
Go.
Kayla joins Geoffreys. They salute their captain. Bancroft returns the salute, and the two run toward the oncoming troops.
Seriously?
What?
You're only sending 2 of them? I mean, the odds were terrible before, but now? 2 of them. Against all of that.
I did not just send any 2.
She and Piper watch as Kayla and Geoffreys methodically kick ass through all 25 soldiers. Exhausted at the end, but still cheerful, they wave at Bancroft, who gives them a go-on gesture. They high-five each other, then turn and run towards Swann's vessel. Piper stares in disbelief, then remembers something and turns to Bancroft.
Hey, didn't you guys get Sergio Blade on your team?
What's that there?
4 soldiers approach Wood's cell. He is still sitting on the floor next to Rock.
Get on your knees now.
Wood slowly obeys them.
Hands in the air, palms facing towards us.
Wood complies. The syringe from his boot is tucked in the back of his leather wristband, hidden from the soldier's view. Satisfied, the 2 lead soldiers nod at each other and then key in a command on the wall. The red energy partition disappears and 3 of the soldiers enter the cell. They approach Wood, who, still on his knees, removes the syringe from his wristband and jabs it into Rock's chest. Rock's eyes immediately snap open and he sits bolt upright in his bed. The soldiers scream in terror as he turns his neck to look at them sideways, his orange eyes glowing. It's real creepy, you guys. Swann, his hands now bound in front of him, moves to half lean, half sit against a rock. He chuckles. Piper glares at him.
Oh, really? Because you think you have some sort of escape plan?
Did you forget about the other security vessel? It's literally right there in the sky. Did you also forget that they'd be monitoring the situation? You realize that they've already sent a legion of troops to turn the tide here.
Hang on, man. I've heard bluffing before, and you are definitely 100%.
Swann's legion spring out of seemingly nowhere and easily overpower Bancroft, DeCarroll, and Piper. Kayla and Geoffreys continue to fight their way through the ship. They round a corner and run straight into Wood and Rock. A corridor of beaten Avante lie behind them.
So listen, about before...
Turns out you might have been telling the truth, maybe?
Rock's right. We're all on the same side now. Let's get out of this first and apologize later.
Wood and Rock run past Kayla and Geoffreys, who stand for a moment bewildered.
That wasn't an apology.
They can't hear us.
Probably not, no.
Swann, his wrists free, watches Bancroft, DeCarroll, and Piper sitting on the ground. 6 of the Legion guard them.
Well, no one will deny that you gave a valiant effort, except that no one will know that this ever actually happened, so... kind of the same thing?
DeCarroll begins to wiggle his left arm. It's a small movement, but Bancroft notices. She and DeCarroll make eye contact, and he winks at her. She frowns. Don't wink at me, man.
So you're gonna kill us, then?
Of course. I tried to kill you as soon as you left Primum, remember? I honestly can't tell you why I've kept you alive this long. Go ahead.
Swann steps back as the Legion power up their weapons. As they reach their peak electrical hum, they suddenly power down. Confused, the Legion look at their weapons. Why did you fail us, weapons? Bancroft and DeCarroll slowly stand. Swann glares at them.
That's right. DeCarroll made a long-range weapon in Peter, meaning that all weapons in a very large radius aren't going to work. Meaning, if you want us killed, you're going to have to do it with your own hands. Meaning this is now a very level playing field.
The field's just been leveled, son.
There's still only 2 of you. Hardly an issue.
Piper stands next to them, her fists clenched in an awkward position.
3.
Bancroft gently fixes Piper's stance, adjusting her arms and straightening her wrists.
Still not enough.
You forgot about us, you bish.
Well, this is just ridiculous. Bordering on preposterous.
The patrol and their comrades charge the Legion. It's a classic alien planet fistfight. Swann punches Bancroft, knocking her to the ground. Kayla leaps on his back, raining blows on his head. Piper and DeCarroll fight near each other. Piper is terrible, and DeCarroll has to fight twice as hard, his bad guys and hers. Rock seems to have springs in his legs. He leaps from Legion soldier to Legion soldier, dispatching them with ease. Geoffreys can't get into the rhythm of the fight and is having his ass handed to him until Wood, who had been fretting on the sidelines, can no longer stand idly by and wades into the fight. He picks up 2 Legion soldiers and smashes them together, then flings their bodies at 2 other soldiers. Another soldier rushes him. Wood clotheslines him with very little effort. Wood looks down at his own arms, amazed. He grins at Geoffreys, who, dazed, can't return the sentiment exactly, but still makes the attempt. Swann and Kayla fight each other. Kayla gets in some good licks before Swann pulls out a collapsible baton and strikes her in the head with it. Kayla crumples to the ground. Bancroft rises to her feet. She only has eyes for Swann. She begins to walk towards him, shoving anyone in her way, including Geoffreys and Piper, for clear access to the Prime Minister. Swann realizes that maybe this isn't the place he wants to be right now. He turns and runs. Bancroft strides after him. The fight continues. Bancroft chases Swann high up the side of the valley. She catches up and dives towards him, grabbing his ankles and pulling him off his feet. He kicks her off him, but she's too quick and leaps on top of him. Her fists are a furious blur, but he covers his head and face. He tries to use his baton, but Bancroft snatches it away from him, throwing it far down the hillside. She continues to punch at his head. Covering up, his head turns. Swann notices. Bang! Swann hits Bancroft in the temple with a rock. Woozy, she sways, and he's able to push her off him. He scrambles to his feet and strikes her again, knocking her to the ground. Swann runs away. On her back, Bancroft winces and shakes her head. She wipes blood from her forehead before struggling to her feet. She stumbles, her knees weak. The patrol stand victorious and exhausted over the defeated and electro-bound Legion soldiers.
Well, that wasn't so hard.
That was so much fun. Man, why didn't you tell me about fighting before? You guys want to wrestle?
Not really?
Oh, sure, don't ask the girl.
I'm sorry, little lady. You want in on this?
No, thank you. It's an honor just to be nominated.
About 30 more Legion soldiers are rushing towards them.
Man, seriously?
Like, enough, right? I'm tired.
Don't you worry your tiny human body. Yeah, but you're not human.
Rock narrows his eyes, then he and Wood rush at the Legion. Bancroft approaches a flat area surrounded by bushes. She looks down at the dirt. Swann's footprints lead her to the center of the clearing, but then disappear somehow. She pauses, looking around warily. Swann leaps down from the branches of a yacht tree, kicking Bancroft in the back. She slams heavily into the ground. Exhausted, she starts to push herself up, but Swann kicks her in the ribs. She rolls onto her back, holding her side. Swann stands above her.
I suddenly had an epiphany. You were chasing me and I, admittedly a bit out of shape. You know, I mostly sit at a desk all day, was breathing pretty heavily when it occurred to me that I was breathing pretty heavily without the help of a CO2 apparatus. And because I can breathe in this atmosphere, well, should I continue to spell it out?
Bancroft tries to push backwards away from him, but he puts his foot down hard on her right arm, pinning her to the ground. He reaches toward the oxygen bubble generator on her belt and viciously wrests it from her. Bancroft takes a final desperate breath as her oxygen bubble fades away. Wood and Rock utterly annihilate the Legion soldiers as the patrol watch.
Should we, do something to help?
Yeah, I think we'd just be in the way.
No.
How could you possibly help?
Bancroft tries to keep calm as she holds her breath, but her eyes begin to betray her panic. Swann removes his foot from her arm and steps back.
I want you to know that I don't derive any pleasure from this. Sure, I've been paid off with so much mouillon that I literally can't think of all the things I'm gonna spend it on. And yeah, it's been kind of fun being in a space battle, and I was pretty happy smashing both you and your pilot in the face. But other than that, and the fact that I'm absolutely gonna get away with everything, I don't derive a single iota of pleasure from this.
Bancroft's face is beginning to turn red.
I guess this could help you, huh?
He holds up the oxygen bubble generator.
I tell you what, you and your patrol aren't as useless as I was told you were. Come and work for me and we'll forget all of this ever happened. You'll get a cushy job as, let's call it, head of internal security or something. It'll literally just be sitting around all day. You can screw around, doing whatever.
Swann sighs, then throws the oxygen bubble generator on the ground and smashes it with his foot.
Yoicks! Now what? Well, I can't stand around here on this hill all day waiting for you to asphyxiate, so... On second thought, I was wrong about not gaining any pleasure. This is giving me quite the dopamine rush. Hopefully it doesn't become a habit.
You are wrong. You aren't going to get away with this. You're going to empty your bank account and donate all your money to a charity that you would hate supporting. And one last thing you should know is I'm very good at holding my breath for a long time.
She leaps forward, holding the rock that Swann had bashed her with earlier. Swann turns to face her, just in time for her to smash the rock down on his head with both hands. He falls to the ground, Bancroft landing heavily on top of him. Bancroft crawls up to Swann's face and pulls open his mouth. She's disgusted at what she's about to do. She pushes down on his stomach and he exhales. Bancroft places her mouth over his and breathes in deeply. Pushing herself off of him, she shudders and then unzips a pocket on her flight suit. She pulls out a communicator and beeps to life.
Starship Patrol November. This is your captain speaking.
She closes her eyes and rests. Former Prime Minister Swann is led off an Avante security vessel by DeCarroll and Geoffreys.
In a direct and knowing violation of the Intergalactic Declaration, former Prime Minister Swann was leading the Avante towards a breach of political structure by allowing his personal interests to take precedence over those of the Triumvirate.
50 Avante soldiers help the patrol, Wood, and Rock search under literally every stone they see. Wood is puzzled, scratching his head. He and Rock look behind them at a tree and point at it, then draw a line through the air towards where they remembered hiding the information they seek. Off to the side, DeCarroll triumphantly holds up a stone. Wood and Rock look at him. Really? Way over there? Huh. DeCarroll brings it to them, and Wood twists the stone in half. It clicks open, and Wood taps the stone on his palm. A Geiger disc falls out, and he hands it to Bancroft. They grin at each other.
An unethical union between Swann and the All-King and President of all Opulentus, Morland Trudd, threatened to turn our triumvirate from a sanctioned coalition of mutual protection and benefit to one of bribes and misappropriation of power.
Swann on trial. He's interrogated by Piper, holding up to scrutiny until finally he snaps. He points to the back of the room, yelling and gesturing wildly. A gallery is thrown into chaos, through which Morland Trudd attempts to exit unnoticed. A new, sleeker Starship Patrol November floats in space, 1 mile away from the green glowing portal. The patrol are joined by Piper and Superintendent Holland. Geofferies offers Holland weapons control. Holland resists at first, but she's easily swayed and takes Geoffreys' seat.
Opulentus, who we now know is a corrupt corporate dictatorship, has been removed from the triumvirate and their portal destroyed. Their cancer shall not be allowed to infect our new triumvirate.
Holland keys in a command, and 3 space torpedoes streak from the starship, destroying the portal. The crew cheer for Holland, who tries in vain to stop her widespreading grin. Piper is sworn in as the new Prime Minister. The patrol, wearing their fanciest dress uniforms, stand at attention. Piper salutes them, and they proudly return the gesture.
I personally guarantee that our leadership will never permit an attempted genocide again. We will verify that all of our systems are treated fairly and our communications remain honest. We will eliminate all social media platforms, and we will raise government grants for musical progress. We will continue to search for new systems, and we will ensure the welfare of our homes through the Starship Patrol program.
A dozen new portals float in space, tethered to each other and anchored to the moon Lessica G. Other brand new Starship Patrol craft take turns entering through the portals, passing others who are returning.
The Primum system is immediately reinstated, and a new 3-way portal is being constructed to allow safe travel between our systems. Ebrius will undergo a mandatory yet gentle civilization enlightenment program. And Primum has been sent all available medical aid to determine how we can halt the disease that is inflicting them.
Avante security vessels sit in orbit as dozens of shuttles fly down toward the surface. Valentine looks up from her patient, her hair billowing slightly in the wake of Starship Patrol November. Wood and Rock run down the boarding ramp of the starship, leading a team of Avante doctors and nurses. The patrol join the medical team, offering help wherever they can. Valentine stands, shocked. Rock sees her across the town. They run toward each other, crashing into a loving embrace. From a distance away, Wood smiles at them. The patrol sit on the porch of a building at the end of the main street, along with Wood, Rock, and Valentine.
You did well today. Thank you. But we already know the medicine the Avante brought is only a temporary fix.
All right, well, once we get the results back from the tests, we'll hopefully be able to work on a permanent cure.
We're gonna save our people, Valentine. We promise.
Valentine cuddles closer to Rock as Bancroft's PDU beeps. Bancroft swipes above her wrist and a message appears in front of her. She quickly scans through the information.
Cap?
It's from the research facility. Findings from the blood analysis.
And?
Yes?
Sir?
Well, it says all the Primum are sick because they're all,
What?
they're all calcium deficient.
What? What does that mean?
You're all severely calcium deficient?
Great. What does that mean? Why do you guys keep looking at each other like that?
You guys know about cows, right?
She gestures to the east. No more than 200 feet away is a field full of cows.
You mean moo horses?
They're just useless grass eaters.
No, guys.
But they know what horses are?
The patrol chase cows around the field, while the Primum watch on, bewildered.
The humans, the heroes, they saved our people, our planet, our system, not to mention all of Terra, and all in a single day.
Wood smiles, closing his eyes. Ophelia looks at Quinny, who has tears streaming down her face. Ophelia smiles and takes Quinny by the hand.
Come on, Quinn. You should rest.
That was so beautiful.
They get up to leave. Ophelia kisses her great-granddad on the forehead, then follows Quinny out. A shadow falls across Wood's bed. He opens his eyes to see Rock looking down at him. Wood's voice has become raspier.
Hello, Rock. I was hoping that I would see you one last time.
I'm here, my friend. Is there anything I can do for you?
I'd love to have one. One last glass of milk.
Rock nods, smiling again at Wood. He removes a bottle of milk from the refrigerator and reaches for a glass.
Just bring the bottle, if you could be so kind.
Rock crosses the room and sits next to Wood, who is rapidly losing strength. Rock helps him drink.
Thank you. Could you please open the window? Please, help me sit up.
Rock takes the bed controls, slowly raising the back of the bed so Wood is sitting upright. Wood grips the bottle.
Bury my body where this lands.
Wood uses the last of his strength to throw the bottle through the window. It lands outside, under an enormous tree. The tree sits as the protector of a serene landscape, which is untouched other than the occasional cabin and farmhouse. Beautiful, still, and natural. Hills and rivers. And cows.
Once upon a time, I had to let you go, thinking we just delayed the future. I know what you had to do. I'm staying strong here for you. Now looking back, it seems we were too young to know that we probably should have stayed together. I miss the tone of your voice. I miss us having a choice. But name the place, name the time, and I will race there, 'cause I'm not
My name is Josie Lauren. I was chosen for this mission because I was the most qualified to provide a positive result.
So you ready for your first day? I mean, it'll be an interesting change of pace, at least. Life, just gonna pay off.
Big time.
Josie Lauren, super secret government spy, licensed to drive whom she pleases, where she pleases, when she pleases. From the elegant parking lot of this one building to a close-up of the same parking spot. A strange adventure of intrigue, treachery, and love.
Oh, Alex. My sweet, sweet Alex. We used to have such a good time together, didn't we? I wish you would have stayed. DuPont. He was my mission. So far, DuPont was a no-show, but he was gonna show. He always shows.
You'll live dangerously with a superbly resourceful Josie Lauren. The explosive screen dramatization of the script that has entertained at least the writer who wrote it. Exotic and tantalizing. The reconnaissance of Josie Lauren.
That was a satisfying conclusion.